you!
You're scared. And you should be.
This is not your company anymore.
Leave the cheek of CM Punk.
Out! Combo move! This is what they've been doing! Hey, McAfee!
Everyone shut the up and sit down!
We got a mom in the front row who taught her daughter how to suck dick!
I'm Mina Shirakawa. I used to be a model. I want to put on a big show.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome once again to the Saturday Shenanigans, hosted by yours truly, the Renegade JJ Williams. Hi guys. Hi guys. CM Punk drama bullshit to the side. I still consider Hangman the worst AEW champion they've had. First of all, we're going to bring in Walter Cruz.
I said that as a joke when what's his name did his promo Monday. He said, "I'm from a prestige university." I said he majored in Steiner, man.
We've got the Heb man, James Hebert, in the house.
I do really cool and dumb things on the internet.
Right. A lot of shit going on here. A lot of fucking crazy ass shit.
Where is Noah JD? Well, say his name and he appears, because we believe in Noah Foster.
Fuck is this intro? It is one of those things where as fans we do have these desires for what we want to see, but sometimes you can't always get what you want, and there are reasons you truly don't get what you want. I wouldn't even listen to this in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. What the fuck is this shit? God, rapid whack. Like I said, never been a greater time to be a wrestling fan than with more companies in a more lucrative spot, in a more comfortable business spot, in a sense of mind, it seems, than ever. Again, WWE is not the only one. It is not the end-all, be-all. So let's go back to the Renegade Wrestling JJ Williams to get the official word. JJ, speak!
Make sure you tune in every week, because you never know who's going to drop in to join the shenanigans. Catboy is in the house.
Hello, my internet family.
I say if you want to make them as evil as possible, make them really mad.
We have Mansfield joining the party now. What is going on, Josh?
Like I told no one when we were in Cleveland, him joining Chase U was just an unfortunate side effect of my shenanigans towards you, JJ. I know how it can get better, Noah. The panel chooses you.
Shut the fuck up, Josh.
He said that so like.
We got the intro back.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's just like how you and I had lunch together the other week.
That was different.
Ladies and gentlemen, the King is here. Say his name and he appears. We believe in King A-Train. There are so many believers in Joe Hendry. The only person on this panel that doesn't believe in Joe Hendry is King A-Train. Tell the world why you do not believe in Joe Hendry.
The reason I do not believe Joe Hendry is he is Fandango 2.0 in a entrance merchant. I rest my case, Your Honor.
Hey! There's nothing wrong with being an entrance merchant. He has some of the best entrances of all time.
Teleporting into the command center, all the way from Angel Grove High, Datilla.
Oh, yeah. I went to the command center on Thursday. I went to Vasquez Rocks, which is where they filmed a lot of episodes. Somebody actually climbed to the very top of those rocks. I made it halfway. I was like, I'm not going up there. Definitely Toni Storm versus Mariah May. That's the one match I probably am looking forward to the most. I really like the story. I'm familiar with all about Eve, so if it plays out that way, I kind of know how this is gonna go.
Say goodnight, Datilla.
Good night.
James, you did say his name. So he shall appear, ladies and gentlemen. first time on the Shenanigans. Jeff Meacham is in the motherfucking house.
Ah! All right, we're coming in hard with the botch. All right, fucking hell. It's good to be back. It's good to have an opportunity to talk to the crowd on a Saturday.
If you want to have yourself stomach through it, you can go back and watch when the Main Event Mafia took over Impact. That's what James was talking about.
So if everybody just joined us, we're talking about people sedating people, attempted murder, boys, and tips. Welcome to Saturday Shenanigans, everybody. Aren't you glad I'm back?
Welcome back, Jeff.
Cool.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back once again to the weekly moderated conversation of wrestling madness that is the Saturday Shenanigans. I am once again your host for tonight, Lord help me, the simple man, Noah Foster. Hope everyone had a wonderful, safe 4th of July holiday, and thank you all for tuning in not only to this, but to those that tune into our AEW Collision 100 coverage, as well as still tuning in, if not already has, the GCW coverage still being done by James Hebert and, of course, Walter Cruz. Hope everyone's doing very well this evening. Again, if you want to dictate the conversation, Super Chatter, PayPal the Passions. It's as simple as that. So, Fed, good to see you. But without further ado, this is never a one-man show. I am not John Oliver. If I sound robot to anybody, I am the Simple Man version 210. But I am not here alone because I always have with me friends in low and high places. Speaking of which, she's yours, she's mine, she's our Canadian friend, Ash. Ash, welcome back once again. Time for another edition of Saturday Shenanigans. How you been for the last hour since we last conversed?
I just went outside for a nice little walk and I got myself some coffee because it's not Saturday night Shenanigans without my coffee, apparently.
Yeah, I'm sure it's good stuff. Speaking of good stuff, whether robotic or authentic. We love him. We appreciate him. He's the man, whether he wants to be called that or not. We're going to hear his voice one way or another. Technology, be damn. I'm going to encourage him. I'm going to make him push the button. Jeff Mother Bleepin' Meacham is here with us tonight, folks.
Hey, first of all, can everybody hear me?
Loud and clear.
Loud and clear. Can everybody see me such as it is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So do I sound robotic in any way, shape, or form?
No, not really.
Okay, cool. I think what happened was I had the fan on right here and it was blowing and making the noises. So
yeah,
I think that's one of
the voice was probably the fates. Well,
so we are hopeful for a much more productive Saturday involvement from good old JN than last week, because last week was a cluster. Let's see what time we had clusterfuck last week. So because we had massive internet problems across the board here last week at Casa de Meacham. So we are hopeful that we are better. There's a lot of good stuff to talk about, Noah. You know, Cody's new podcast, you know, what do you want to talk about? We have quite a triple threat of topics to dive into and dissect and no doubt cause the controversy and indulge in the shenanigans that we do every Saturday. So I'm here for it, brother. I'm looking forward to the three of us. I'm looking forward to being joined by the other trio, such as they filter in. And as you say, let's fucking go, brother.
Yeah, fair enough. And again, Safet, and shout out to Noti Q moderator, the Cleaver, Con Andrew. Good to see you, my fellow Ohio brother. Hope to see you in August, whether or not it's AEW related or somehow meat related. We got to hang out some point soon in the city that rocks. But yes, indeed, Jeff. And as always, I'm always happy to help out a friend and engage with my friends. And that includes all of you again in the chat. So if you want to be part of the conversation, let your opinions, let your thoughts be known. But if you want to dictate, super chat. It's as simple as that. But I think without further ado, brother, lady, sisters, gentlemen, all other forms of life that choose to engage with us some way or some form too. Let's get right into it. To Jeff's point, we have a triple threat feature of topics for you here tonight on the regular itinerary, and then you all will continue to steer the conversation in, God help me, Shenanigans After Dark. So let's see what happens. So let's go ahead and see if the doctor will see you now or later or not at all, in the ring or in the dental office, because one particular person, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, don't forget it, has sent out a rather cryptic tweet, apparently. And for those that don't know, I don't follow any dirt sheets. Again, I have no notifications, but as the host, I had to be engaged in the conversations that are ahead. So shout out to the regular host, the most, the regular wrestling JJ Williams, who gave me this as basically your headline. Dr. Baker DMD sent out a tweet about worth and value when it came down to water and economy, how price may change, but the object remains the same. That's not just true about groceries, folks. That, in a way, could be true about people, too. So at the end of the day, is she looking for more, or is she looking for a way out the door? And if she is looking for a way out of AEW, or is this a ploy to return all in Texas? Remember that women's casino gauntlet? Is she trying to get back to wrestling? Is it the same company? Is it somewhere else? The E, TNA, HOG, some other place not even thinking? Or does she simply want to focus on her dental pursuits because, truth be told, if she goes to WWE, that would be the full-time grind. She would have to stop her main level career in all ways possible. So that being said, let's go around and get your thoughts towards the doctor's future. Where will we see her? Will we see her in the ring? Or once and for all only in dentistry? What does the future hold for Dr. Britt Baker, DMD? Is it as clear as day or still rather gray? Jeff, I'm going to start with you on this because you've met Dr. Baker, DMD, and what was her resurgence? That was prior, of course, to her conversation that she gave us in Chicago about promises, looking at the past, the present, and the future. So what do you think this means, and what do you think Dr. Britt Baker's future could hold in store?
Yeah, I've had the unique opportunity to interact with Britt at two very different points in her career. I saw her on the Jericho Cruise back in 2021, where she was at the time the reigning, defending AEW World Women's Champion and on top of the world. I then subsequently encountered her at the Garcia twins. Of course, they're not going by the Bella twins again because they're back with WWE. At least Nikki is.
Right.
Again, shout out to my friends. So, gotta support my friends. Curious what's gonna happen there, by the way, with Nikki back and Liv not being at the Evolution. I'm curious where they're gonna go with the Bella involvement. Anyway,
right.
Britt, I saw Britt right before she returned to TV and divulged to the world what had really happened to her, and with the, for lack of a better medical term, the mini stroke that she had suffered. And like I said, two completely different times, not only in her career, but her very life. And it really feels like, even when I saw her at Nicole and Bree's live podcast with the Lawrence brothers and how that all played out and listening to her and interacting with her, it really felt like she was still on the verge of a decision regarding her wrestling career. I don't know how many in our audience are in a position in their life where they've had the misfortune of suffering any sort of stroke-like occurrence. They are not to be trifled with. They are completely, life-altering, even a small one. And Colin, based on your post lately on social, God bless you. We would love to have you on, but we totally understand. Please let me know privately if you're moderating on Tuesday, because I did make it clear in the chat last Tuesday I want to be part of the WWE review this week, but I don't know if it got through to the boss man. So if you're moderating, I am definitely wanting to see Tuesday, sir.
There you go. Please continue. And then I'll bring in another person. Please continue.
Yes. Anyway, I was of the opinion when I saw her in Hollywood at the podcast, and I'm of the opinion now that, Britt will only want to come back to wrestling full time if she can be Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, wrestling full time. Like, she's not going to come back and half-ass anything. She's not that person. She followed up on the post subsequently, talking about wanting to, go all in on the practice. She didn't use the words all in, but she wants to go all in on her dentistry practice. So I think that unless this is a decoy for a return, for next Saturday, it's 1 week away already. It's Texas, my goodness. I don't see it happening, just based on what I've observed. But as has been proven time and time again in the last 40 years of pro wrestling, sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it, anything can happen, and everything's a work, bro. So I'm curious to see what happens going into Arlington. But I'd be very surprised if Britt Baker did return to the ring, let alone to AEW.
Yeah, fair enough. Before we go to our Canadian friend, another friend, the original man that's usually the host, but he passed that come up to me tonight, unless he wants me to endure the chaos or he just has that trust or a combination of both. It's the guy himself in the building. Finally, the renegade of wrestling, JJ Williams. JJ, let's go and get your thoughts, but also good to see you. How are you?
I'm doing well. I apologize if there's background noise, still kind of hanging out at work, but, it is what it is.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, if you want to give your thoughts, just let me know. But I know there's a bunch of background noise, so please can be posted. It's good to have you on. So that being said, yeah, Jeff, it's one of those things where you know what I stand by. I stand by many simple, basic principles, whether it's wisdom from my teachings, from family, or from my, religion. I am what I am. Priorities over passions. Seeing is believing. Work versus shoot when you're a wrestling fan, terms that people confuse all the time and truly don't understand unless you're someone that's been in the business. You, of course, someone who has been. I, of course, someone who hasn't been, but many people think I should be from a commentary standpoint. And thank you all for the nice words, but it's not about me, it's about wrestling. It's one of those things, though, where I think Britt has so much promise and dedication to wrestling that I really think she wants to be back, but it's just about finding the opportunity for her or her creating the opportunity for herself. And I think this is a way where she's trying to create the opportunity out of the most unique scenarios. Again, literally the Casino Gauntlet, anyone can show up. And this being the biggest show in AEW history on U.S. soil, gate-wise, apparently, according to my friend King, who's going all in, I think it's be a perfect opportunity, and I think she's more than deserving of it. But again, time will tell. Ash, let's get your thoughts towards this. We briefly talked about during our Collision 100 call. Again, it was an absolute joy doing that with you. But again, Britt Baker, again, she was such an integral part of AEW's genesis. First female signing, of course, the AEW Women's Division. She defeated Carl Sheet after a year-long run for the AEW Women's World Championship. Went on a great run before losing to a Mara Thunder Rosa in the steel cage. And then she had a lot of fallout, more so personally, with the fact that, yeah, she had basically a mini stroke. As somebody who really cares for a stroke survivor, I feel for Deborah DMD's story and her recovery. Mad respect for her. But what do you think that the future holds in store for not just the wrestler, but the person, Deborah DMD? Is it dentistry or is it wrestling?
Yeah, that's a good question to ask, because I would like to see Britt Baker continue working in AEW. And it seems like she's on her way out. I think All In, the Casino Battle Royal Gauntlet, or I can't remember what it's called.
Casino Gauntlet match. I got
yeah,
you.
The Casino Gauntlet match. Yeah.
I respect your opinion.
So if she happens to appear there, then that's awesome. I want to see her more in AEW. But if she is on her way out, I hope wherever she lands, they have something planned for her and she does very well for herself. Because sure, you can make the argument, yeah, she's not the best when it comes to the in-ring stuff, but what she can do, get alone on, is her character work, her mic work, and her charisma, because you can't teach charisma, and she has that in spades.
The it factor, the intangible of a pro wrestler. Many people found it on their own. Some people just had it. LA Knight. Yeah. The glorious Bobby Roode, the it factor, TNA World Champion. Just to name a couple. Please continue.
And another friend of hers who people make those same arguments about is Chelsea Green.
Oh, yeah.
Damn right.
If you're going to say her name, Ash, you got to say it right.
Oh, Lord. Here we go.
Chelsea Green.
And Chelsea Trust.
Damn right. And Hot Mess, I trust. God bless the Hot Mess. That's my American leader. Sorry. Please continue.
Sorry. Excuse me.
And if she, that's another thing too. If she does go to WWE, that's a women's tag team, because her and Britt used to tag team in the Indies.
Ding, ding.
As Team Fire and Ice.
That's right. So nice.
So there is stuff for her to do there. Although going back to mentioning also, if she does go to WWE, does she go to NXT, work their way, or make her way to the main roster? And how will the locker room treat her, especially with the comments she made about the NXT locker room down there? Which, if she, who knows, maybe she's changed her stance on it, because if she apologizes for the remarks she made, maybe all is forgiven. It might take a while for the locker room to forgive her if she does go to NXT. Not that she needs NXT, but it would help her in the long run, like it's doing with Blake Monroe, right?
Yes, the former The Glamour, Mariah May, and hypocrisy versus an apology. There are two different words in the dictionary for a reason, and we will talk more about that later, folks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not that so yeah, I would like her to stay in AEW, but if she goes to WWE, there's stuff for her to do there. I'm just hoping wherever she lands, much similar to as I said about Blake Monroe, is that she wants to go because she wants to, and hopefully it works out for the best. And maybe if they can work it out and she still wants to do her dentistry, they can work something that out as well, because WWE doesn't do that much dates anymore, so she could probably do both.
Possibly, but there still is, at the end of the day, the heaviest schedule in the business is still WWE. And usually when you're in WWE, you do things within the WWE marketing scheme. So unless they find a way to get her endorsed by Crest toothpaste, for example, I just don't see them necessarily justifying her in working as much, if not harder, in dentistry than she wants to, or what they think she needs to in professional wrestling. It's an outlook of what the individual, like you said, wants to do versus what the company wants you to do. In AEW, there is more freedom, but at the end of the day, they also need to find a way to book you. And we talked about during our call, the problem with this business is the booking, because there is so much quantity and the overwhelming, continuing, developing quality that there isn't enough spots or enough creativity in the two biggest companies on the United States front, and let's call it what it is, they're the two biggest companies on the planet, to book enough people in those spots. Yet they have more than enough people under those contracts. And at the end of the day, every one of these individuals is trying to make a living for themselves and their family. Some of them want to make a living straight through wrestling. Others want to do it outside. And I think Britt is a discipline of both, but clearly there's a passion for being in the ring. And right now, AEW isn't giving that for her, it seems, for whatever reason. So she's either trying to remind them or find it, or figure out somewhere else, which she could probably re-find it for all we know. But again, how important is wrestling versus dentistry? That's a decision for the individual tiebreaker DMD. So whether or not we see her at All In, the next time AEW is in Pittsburgh, or we see her in the audience possibly at a different show. She sat in NXT before, and again, the past is the past. How many people hold on to the past versus grow and move on in the future, as Britt basically illustrated in her speech coming back from that. And you're right, she has a lot of love and support. Tony Schiavone, of course, etc., has been very close to bringing DMD. If anyone probably knows more about what Britt might be thinking about doing, it very well might be him, but he's not on the Shenanigans. So I am curious, but at the end of the day, I'm not one to dictate or judge anyone's choices in this world or professional wrestling landscape. You do what you choose to do, live by the sword, die by the sword. You either profit or you bust from it. And I hope in Britt's case, especially with what she's been through, she only gains from it and she gets what she wants from it. But time will tell. Great thumbnail. JJ, is there anything further you want to add? You want to try to add your bit?
Well, let's not pretend like WWE couldn't get her sponsored by Crest.
That's why I said that.
This is the same company that took a throwaway line about John Cena looking like a big fat bowl of Fruity Pebbles and turned it into a John Cena on the box of Fruity Pebbles.
Where we landing, boys?
So, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that Crest, Colgate, Aquafresh, Arm & Hammer, any of those type of things could become, you know, a sponsor of the toothpaste connected to Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
Damn it, accurate.
As far as the topic at hand goes.
Yes, please give your thoughts.
I thought it was very interesting. I've seen people put out posts like that before, even outside of wrestling, outside of entertainment. I've seen people that I'm just friends with put out those type of posts, you know, and it always attracts my attention because it's a true sentiment, you know. And for those that didn't see it, the gist of the post was, you know, a bottle of water is $1. But you go to a restaurant and it's $3. You go to a concert and it's $5. You go to a bar and it's $7. Something along those lines.
Yeah.
You know, like Noah explained, the product's the same, but the value is determined off of where you are, how much you're willing to pay for it. So keep that in mind when you're trying to determine your own value and your own worth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you can look at that in any kind of aspect. You know, if you're working somewhere that's paying you minimum wage and you get the opportunity to go to another company that's willing to give you even $2 more, they clearly value you more than the other company does. You know, so what are you going to do? Now, the downside is the company that's willing to give you a couple bucks more may give you less hours. So how does it balance out on the scale there? You know, you got to look at things, you know.
The end must justify the means.
Exactly. So TNA, for example, may give her less than Tony Khan's, but TNA usually works only 3 days a month.
Yep.
You know, you've got the pay-per-view, you've got the tapings after the pay-per-view, and if there's enough time until the next pay-per-view, you've got one more set of tapings. So you work 3 days a month. Now that gives you 27 other days, whether you want to get independent bookings, whether she just wants to use those 27 days to focus on her dentistry, making money there, whatever. So the fact that she's still working, doing what she loves in her dentistry, but at the same time, fulfilling her passion for professional wrestling,
Damn it.
working 3 days a week, getting to be on television, getting to be involved in storylines where, no disrespect intended, currently she's not. For whatever the reason is, even though she may get a smaller paycheck from Carlos Silva, Anthem, and the folks at TNA, is it worth it? You know, she's still getting to creatively indulge in her passion while still participate in what she went to school for education for.
Mm-hmm.
Flip side of that coin, if she goes to WWE, she may get paid the same as Tony is paying her, possibly more. But she probably won't be able to keep the dentistry because WWE is a full-time gig.
Yep.
Now, it's possible that if she has a partner, the partner continue to run the dentistry, and in those, we won't call them opportune times, but if she ever gets an injury, she may be able to go in and do some stuff at the dentistry while she's recovering from her injury, depending on what injury she sustains. But the odds of her getting to fulfill that is very few and far between.
Yeah, it really comes down.
So it's a balancing scale, but I am curious to see what happens. I'm firmly of the belief that at this point, it's a crapshoot. You know, and that's what I like about it. You know, if I come to Shenanigans on Saturday the 12th, after doing, you know, Great American Bash and Saturday Night Main Event, and I find out she returned in the Casino Gauntlet, I'm going to be happy as hell. And what a great, you know, swerve. She puts this out there to kind of mess with everybody, to fish, to generate buzz, to get people talking, which, guess what? That's what we're doing. We're talking about it. So success. And then she shows up.
She's in the conversation, and she was always part of the conversation the whole time. She just put more eyes on herself from behind the scenes. And to your point, yeah, and again, you know, work or shoot. At the end of the day in this business, if people aren't talking about you in some capacity, you are very close to becoming what Jeff Hardy once was, obsolete. So,
and then on the flip side of that, if she put this tweet out and she doesn't show up at all, and then we find out in the coming weeks or months that she gets her release from AEW, and then she shows up at Bound for Glory or Slammiversary or SummerSlam. What a moment that'll make.
exactly. And at the end of the day, if you support the worker because you may not know the person, that's all you should care about. So at the end of the day, Britt, wherever we see you, I hope that you're happy, and I hope that's what you truly want. Sometimes you can't get what you want, but I feel that you should dictate what you get, and hopefully it's one of the two that's better for you. All right. Well, that being said, great talk on our opening topic. So we'll see what happens. Maybe as soon as 7 days, maybe a month, maybe 5 months, maybe shorter later. It's Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, that determines when we'll see her and where. Stay tuned. And if you're in Britsburg, don't try and harass her with that question if she's still working at the dentist's office as well either, folks. Please. There's nothing worse than somebody literally trying to get a wrestler's itinerary because they think they can, because they see them out in a public location or their other profession. Stop it. Just stop it. Stop it. Okay, well, that being said, before we take our first commercial break, the man below me, there's something that you want to acknowledge real quick?
It's been a long time since I felt so fine on a Saturday night. Throw it up, Noah. So happy for our buddy Scorpio Sky. Finally back on television. I saw him at Rebellion when I don't think any of us knew if he was going to be back on AEW TV anytime soon, but there he was out there on Collision with Top Flight, with Indy, and with the backing of Christopher Daniels, which was a wonderful little throwback.
I see you represent.
There we go,
He's
man.
back, baby.
So fucking happy for Scorp. God darn it. Just one of the most underutilized people in the history of professional wrestling outside of the SoCal Indies. I will die on that hill with a bloody yellow mask through my heart. Well, if you know, you know.
I mean, you told enough stories that I kind of know.
So I hope that this is not just let's get a big pop for Sky on Collision. Let's get him out there on Dynamite. Let's get him out there to Arlington. Let's get this man back in the ring. If he is indeed uniting with Top Flight, I am here for every bit of it. And Indies with them, another underutilized person in the last little short trip. That was Indy Hartwell I saw next to them, right?
Layla Gray. Layla Gray.
You know what? Sorry, the graphic. I'm sorry, Layla. I apologize. And I know Indy was with TNA. I was like, wait a minute. So I apologize. Yeah, it's very hard for me to see based on my graphic. My eyesight's still dog shit, so I apologize. So he's out there with Layla. He's out there with Layla Gray. He's out there with Top Flight. I am here for every bit of this. Again, AEW fans, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
I am stoked for Sky that he's back on TV. He and I talked about Rebellion. It's like, what are they going to do? And
did they finally figure out a way to package him? He's got a hell of a crew that's basically training and encouraging him. He's got a new theme. For all we know, he might get a new shoe endorsement based on that symbol on his Titantron. Although I do miss the cool hip-hop Scott. But anyway, Charles, I think we're all doing fine tonight because we're all in a good mood. And I know he's definitely in a great mood because his boy was back on Collision tonight after who knows how long. And Nicholas Ferrante, good to see you. Glad to see you bringing all the fries, all the joy, all the cheers. Appreciate you. Again, we appreciate everybody here, including our Canadian friends. Hope you all appreciate what comes ahead because, again, that was the first of this trifecta of topics we have tonight before you guys dictate the conversation. So when we get back, get ready to continue as we talk a little bit about video game movie casting with you, particularly with what's going on with the Street Fighter franchise. After this commercial break, that will tell you everything coming up here at the Simply Reliable Studios. Check this out.
And now for a taste of things to come.
of attention, Brittany Brooks here.
This is your NWA Women's World Television Champion.
This is the TNA Knockouts World Champion, Masha Slamovich.
Subscribe to Rage of Wrestling on YouTube. Póngase verde.
You better subscribe right now ahora to Rage of Wrestling.
Subscribe to Rage of Wrestling on YouTube.
Everybody, make sure you subscribe to Rage of Wrestling on YouTube and get them to 200 subscribers. Let's go!
Again, if you haven't already, based on what those people said, seriously, does anything else need to be said? Subscribe. Do it. Do it now. There's 19 of you watching. I'm looking at a feed that gives me a number. The number don't lie. If you haven't done it already, subscribe. Hey, subscribe. Spell subscribe in any language or say it in any language you want. Just do it. Just shout above it. Just do it. Subscribe to Rage of Wrestling. And also, don't be a dickhead. Subscribe to Bag for Wrestling. And also, if that trailer didn't tell you what we're about here, we truly encompass, celebrate, embrace, engage, chat, and people say with me if you want, all the wrestling. And welcome back here once again to the Saturday Shenanigans. I am once again your host this week with two wise men and a lovely Canadian friend, along with all of you in the chat that make this all possible every week. So thank you all as always once again. Let's move into our mid-discussion, shall we? Round 2. Fight.
I was thinking what I was going to do. Beautiful.
I try. But seriously, everyone knows that I'm a simple man who likes wrestling, but I'm also a gamer. But how you bring gaming a little bit to the mainstream for me to be a little bit interesting, you cast wrestlers in a Street Fighter movie. Particularly, Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, has been cast as Guile. You know, the guy with the super weird hair that's an American soldier. Anyway, he's been cast for Guile in the Street Fighter movie. But not only that, a very huge proportional character of the Street Fighter universe, Akuma, has been booked to be cast by Roman Reigns. Now, look. I'm not a movie buff, all right? He's the filibuster. You're a filibuster. You're probably a filibuster. Many of you in the chat are filibusters, but I am a gamer. I suck at fighting games, but I play Street Fighter. So why haven't the likes of Chun-Li been cast by, I don't know, Living Katana like Lei Ling Lee or Xia Li? I'm just freaking saying it writes itself. Can we not book wrestlers completely at a Street Fighter cast in a movie? You're telling me you can't figure that out? I'm just saying, there's like, what? The original cast of Street Fighter was like, what, 16 characters? That's a whole different conversation. But more so, I want to speak on behalf of this. We all know when it comes to movies, they take a long damn time to make. And one person literally works in the part that's all about that. But that being said, how does this affect wrestlers making movies? Considering, I don't know, hey, isn't there a biggest part of the summer, bigger than ever, that's going to be 2 nights literally in about a month where one of the individuals for that movie is being cast? And last time I checked, someone being cast by a movie is not on wrestling at the same time, even via satellite. Now, I'm not putting it out there, but it's a foregone conclusion to maybe Cody losing again to John Cena for the Undisputed WWE Championship. Can you imagine if WWE doesn't have the Undisputed WWE Championship on a week-by-week basis on their second biggest running weekly episodic television show? And again, you don't want a champ gone for months, because what is a wrestling product without the main title? So simply put, this is a twofold conversation. Why haven't they cast people like Lei Ling Lee as Chun-Li, for example? And in your opinion, why haven't they cast insert wrestler here as this character if you're knowledgeable of Street Fighter? But more importantly, because I'm sure you all may not be as knowledgeable of Street Fighter like me, what is this, a red herring, or is it a spoiler for Cody Rhodes maybe losing already at SummerSlam? We'll let the lady go first this time. Ash, what's your thoughts on this maybe affecting SummerSlam World Title implications? And do you have any thoughts towards maybe a wrestler that should be already cast in the Street Fighter movie as somebody? Go for it.
I am not too familiar with the Street Fighter games. I
Fair
just
enough.
know of it because one of my best friends loves playing it. He tried teaching me how to play it, and let's just say it did not go very well.
Kenny Omega, for example, would probably put you through a field day. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but like, if we were to hang out, I'd be like, you know what? I'll watch you play it.
Will you
I'll
watch
you
your
play it.
other friend here play as I interrupt you?
I
for
have,
1
yes,
second
I have.
of interference. He does really cool and dumb things. He also is a gamer. He may know Street Fighter more in and out than me. That's a trivia game for another day. It's James Hebert. Welcome
Hey,
aboard,
just
James.
in time.
All right, Ash, let's
Bye-bye.
continue back to you. Player one, continue.
Okay, so I'm really thinking like there's two ways this could happen. So is it really set in stone that Cody Rhodes is losing at SummerSlam? Because think of like the press it's going to do for WWE if, like, oh my God, the WWE champions is starring in a movie or being played in a movie. Do you know how good press that could be?
Right.
And on the other hand, is just like, sure, he might be away for a while, which, as we know with Lesnar being champion for away, it makes us miss the champion. But at the same time, it could force WWE to like push the secondary titles like they did when Lesnar was away. If they could do that. I know that's hopeful, wishful thinking, but
still a thought.
Yeah, me personally, I don't think Cody Rhodes is winning at SummerSlam, and I hope the Street Fighter movie does well.
Okay, fair enough. Well, that being said, player two, James, good to see you. Welcome to the conversation. We're talking about Cody Rhodes being cast as Guile in Street Fighter, and this is a red herring or a spoiler possibly for the SummerSlam result, because can you imagine the world champion not being on your weekly television product, screening a movie, and not even doing a satellite promo just to be the fact that I acknowledge that I'm the champion. I mean, for all it's worth, Logan Paul, when he was United States champion over at UFC or his Impulsive podcast, etc., he still displayed the WWE United States champion, so we knew the title was there. He was the champion. This is who I work for. I don't think it works the same way, though, as in Hollywood, because I don't remember, for example, if Hollywood Rock ever would display like a championship. Outside, you will get your head shaved bald, Vince, at WrestleMania. And that was just casting his vote at WrestleMania 23. But what's your thoughts towards Cody Rhodes being cast as Guile? And if there's someone you would cast in Street Fighter, maybe as a wrestler, who would it be? And do you think that this could be a positive thing, considering Cody is already booked in the main event of SummerSlam?
Him being Guile is cool. He's probably going to be away for a bit. So... yeah, they pretty much spoiled it. But I'll tell you, seeing the Street Fighter movie, whether it's the original or this new version, will be better than seeing Matt Tremont lose an eye.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything that's happened on the show, but I will say, breaking news, Matt Tremont lost an eye.
All right. Well, I'm sure that will come out on the reports. Thank you for that injury report. That being said, Are you surprised they haven't cast someone like Xylene Lee as Chun-Li when we've literally called her living incarnation of Katana from the MK universe, for example?
That's a fair point. That's a great idea. They honestly probably should have, considering all of her offenses basically kicks anyway. That's better. See, you could just cast the entire Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat movie with nothing but fucking pro wrestlers, and it would make sense. Pretty much, duh. Yeah, that's a big duh movie. Yeah, thanks, Charles. Yeah, thanks. Yes, you are correct. Yes, very much. I'm scarred for life.
But tranquilo, mi hermano. But thank you for that take. All right. Well, that being said, Jeff, you got your freaking cap on, player three. What do you think about this casting for Cody Rhodes? How familiar are you with the Street Fighter universe also? And more importantly, from a wrestling booking, is this a smart idea despite Cody Rhodes winning or losing at SummerSlam?
Okay, so when I was a wee young lad, as you say, I used to play Street Fighter in the arcade all the time. Back in the day, and I was genuinely interested in the Street Fighter movie that came out in the 90s. And then the credits started. It was like, wow, this is dog shit. Cool. Awful movie. Just an awful movie. With all respect to Raul Julia, dude, that dude tried his ass off as M. Bison and as the villain, but my God,
Bison was always awesome.
What a god awful movie that turned out to be. So I'm glad they're doing.
It can't be that bad as the Mario one back then, or the original DBC or NK one.
Okay,
yeah, to be fair, nothing will be worse than that fucking Mario movie.
No. That is the undisputed king of what the fuck did I just watch? As far as video games translating to movies, by and large, Mario in the 90s with Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo Tu Wong Fu, thanks for nothing. Fuck off.
That's the only movie reference you're gonna get on me, by the way, Jeff. 50 gamer score. You're never gonna get that again. JJ, I hope you're proud. Please continue.
It was so bad. But Street Fighter wasn't all that much better. So I am glad that they are doing something different and they're trying to give us a more updated presentation. With Cody being cast essentially as the lead character, you figure Guile's going to be one of the leads in the thing. I didn't see him regaining the championship at SummerSlam anyway. It pretty much seals the deal for me at this point. I also am of the belief that John's reign is going to extend past Survivor Series. I still say that if he doesn't lose the title at Survivor Series and had the last match be at that rumored Boston Saturday Night's main event, then he will lose the title at that Saturday Night's main event. So I think any discussion of him being the champion prior to Cody being the champion, prior to a 2026 start back on the path, I think is premature discussion at best. So, yeah, I don't see it affecting the WWE Championship picture. I really believe that Cody will not regain the title and that his time making movie will not interfere with whatever path they put John Cena on. I still think we're not focusing enough attention on Seth Rollins and Mr. Money in the Bank with Cena and just assuming he's going to cash in on the world title. I think there's meat on that Cena Rollins bone toward the end.
All right, well, that's fair. Seth Rollins did say all champions basically is an all-out assault. So whether or not it's Gunther or John Cena or Shock of Shocks, Cody Rhodes, and he becomes Cody Rhodes' sword versus shield, how's that for my long-term story? I've been kind of calling for that since he won the Money in the Bank briefcase. That remains to be seen. All right, well done, player 3. Let's go ahead and welcome player 4, for he truly is reliable. ... Reliable. Walter Cruz, welcome to the conversation. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. We're currently talking about wrestling movie casting and possibly champion hiatus. Cody Rhodes, of course, cast as Guile in the Street Fighter. Still confuses me with the fact we're focusing so much on Guile versus what the Street Fighter franchise head character is, which is freaking Ryu and his brother Ken. But what do I know? I'm just a light gamer, right? That sucks at it. But anyway, of course, Roman's Akuma. Roman's been MIA since Seth Rollins curb stomped him on the Raw after Mania, if you all can actually remember that. Ain't that crazy? But that being said, also, the likes of Layling Lee and that cast is Chun-Li. Makes me wonder who they would have as Camry, honestly. But that being said, Walter, what's your thoughts towards Cody's role as Guile? Is it a foreshadowing of SummerSlam? And if you were to maybe cast a wrestler in a Street Fighter, if you know anything about Street Fighter, go for it. Give your take.
I know a lot about Street Fighter, but I can't think of who I would cast. But I'm okay with Cody. However, I don't think he quite has the. If you really look at how Guile is, he doesn't have the body quite like Guile does, especially like in the newer Street Fighters like 6 and 5. They really made Guile pack on muscle. Maybe the original Street Fighter game, he kind of has that body, but I thought it was gonna be Alan. What the heck is that guy's name? Why can't I think of his name right now? Rip. He plays crap. It'll come to me in the middle of talking about it.
Shut off.
Yeah. My brain. No, dude, that GCW match I just watched. Ugh.
Yep. All right, guys, calm down now. You're in a better place. Continue.
Yeah, exactly. But in terms of the hiatus, no, I don't think so, because I don't think they were gonna have him win the title anyways. Because I feel like John Cena's last thing in Boston was that whole ruthless aggression, quote unquote, pay-per-view, and I feel like that's when you use someone young like a Braun Breaker or somebody to actually save wrestling and beat John Cena. I don't know how you get there. Yeah, exactly. That's what ruthless aggression was always. It was Cena getting over Kurt Angle, Cena becoming the new era and the new person to WWE. Now you repeat the cycle with someone else. So you need a young up-and-comer, maybe from NXT, maybe from TNA for that matter. What if Joe Henry does it? What if, I need someone else that Cena puts over on his last pay-per-view, hands the title over, hugs him, and he leaves as the babyface. Because you're not getting booed in Boston any damn way. If that match is going to be in the rumored Boston, so at the TD Garden, there's no way. There's no way he would get booed, so you do it that way. That way he leaves and goes back into the movie world. But I have no issue with Cody being Guile. Do what you got to do. Like, wrestling doesn't last forever. You have to think. You have to think beyond it. So you want to start acting now, get your chops, wet in the industry. And Street Fighter's a big ass movie. It's a big following. There's a cult. If you know Street Fighter, there's a cult following behind it. So now you get fans that have nothing to do with wrestling start looking at who the cast is and liking them. Maybe you bring new eyes into wrestling, but you also got to think what's beyond WWE and what's beyond wrestling. And he's just probably preparing for retirement. I think he said several times that he wanted to be done before 40 anyways, and he's approaching it. So.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, at one point, I probably wanted to also, be like the governor of his home state. But I mean, you're not wrong about cult followings. I mean, Mortal Kombat, Dead or Alive, Virtual Fighter, King of Fighters, they all have their own following.
Tekken.
Tekken, thank you. Tekken 8, for example. They got endorsed by House of Torture. But anyway, no offense. Anyway, moving on. Not that I'm trying to talk about video game cult following. Stay tuned when Super Level Gaming levels up. Lily, I am not forgotten. All right, well, that being said, Player 5 now engaged. JJ, again, you and I talked a little bit behind the scenes about this and how the original movie, again, the focal point wasn't the main character, but it's kind of like, okay, when I think of Mortal Kombat, what's the first character I think of? Liu Kang. When I think about, the Tekken 8, what's one of the first characters I think about? I think about the one that like Bruce Lee. It's one of those things, though, with the fact we're not putting focus on the main two. I do wonder what the story is going to be, and is it still going to borrow Master Bias? That's a whole different conversation. But yeah, Cody cast as Guile, although with the body build, it might as well be Rusev or Drew McIntyre. But Cody cast as Guile, it feels like SummerSlam, foregone conclusion. I won't say throwaway, but how many times do I say about the WWE Championship picture? It's not about the result. It's about the story. And I say that because that's usually how long the story is. If you know, you know, folks. But that being said, Roman Reigns also has Akuma. Makes me wonder if Cody and Roman are going to have a scene together. Is Roman going to teach Cody a thing or two about acting? And also, again, will we get more, WWE superstars, maybe cast? If not Lee, who else could they put as a Chun-Li? Who else has a martial arts background? Carmen Petrovic? Maybe that could work. But go ahead, JJ, and give your first choice this when it comes to, SummerSlam thoughts going in, the aftermath of the American Nightmare being here during the fall season. And go ahead, filibuster. Start casting a wrestler in some roles if you know Street Fighter. Curious how much of Street Fighter you know about outside the movie. Go ahead, JJ.
As far as knowing Street Fighter, I used to play Street Fighter 2 on Super Nintendo. Okay?
Nice.
Back when I was a wee lad and I actually did play video games, I played Street Fighter 2 on Super Nintendo. I do have to argue about the Street Fighter movie being hot garbage, okay? Double Dragon, Super Mario Brothers, and Mortal Kombat Annihilation all say hold my beer.
Yep.
So at the very least, it's the fourth worst video game movie, and I'm sure we could find some others that are worse.
Probably.
Final Fantasy, The Spirits Within.
That was pretty bad. Dragon Ball was pretty bad, too, even though it's not a video game. It adapted to a video game. That was shit, too.
I mean, the Warcraft movie pretty much just went back into oblivion after it was done.
Yeah.
I think it's a shorter list of good video game movies.
Yeah.
But Street Fighter is far from the worst.
Yeah.
Enough.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue. Back to the conversation.
So I just had to get that out of the way.
You got me talking about movies, JJ. What the hell?
I've got you talking about movies and video games as it all connects to wrestling. Did JJ do a good job today, panel, or what?
Damn it.
He's not wrong.
Okay. As far as Cody is Guile.
Yeah.
I'm going to be curious to see how big of a role Guile has, because as Noah and I was talking about off camera when we were having our little production meeting earlier, when you think about Street Fighter, traditionally you think about Ryu and Ken as the primary characters.
They made Guile the central focus of the Street Fighter movie because it was Jean-Claude Van Damme, and they had nobodies playing Ryu and Ken. You know, so obviously Jean-Claude is going to be the star. You know, it's kind of like how Arnold Schwarzenegger got top billing over George Clooney in Batman and Robin, even though he was Mr. Freeze. You know, it's like even Batman didn't get top billing.
I think Running Man was actually better than that one.
We won't go into which movie was better. I'm just pointing out that the supporting character, the villain, got top billing over Batman.
Fair enough.
That's the point I'm making.
Fair enough.
Like Jeff, I never thought Cody was going to win at SummerSlam. And now that he's been cast as Guile, I don't think he is going to win still. I'm still steadfast in that. Now, if we remember the early WWE films, and I'm talking like The Marine, 12 Rounds, Legendary, Cena was still there every week while he was filming. He would come in, do Raw, fly out, film Tuesday through Saturday, fly into wherever they were going to be for Raw, do Raw, fly out, repeat process. Be on set 5-6 days a week, fly in for Raw, do his thing. He'd still show up for the pay-per-views. So, in theory, especially since WWE has a more relaxed schedule now, I think Cody could pull it off. But why would you press it?
Yeah.
You know, to Ash's point about publicity, I think it would behoove them more for Cody to be the champion once they start doing the press tours, as opposed to having the belt while they're filming. Which then plays into my theory about what they can do here. You either have Cody lose, keep Cena on his way like we all kind of think is going to happen, or at least Jeff and I think is going to happen. Or you have Cody win. Then you have Seth cash in. Take the belt off of Cody so that you then try to move towards Cody and Seth at Mania, running back, as you pointed out, Noah, Cody's first match back in the company 4 years ago.
Yep.
But now it's for the title. Don't have Cody win the Rumble, but have him win the Chamber. Don't even let him be in the Rumble.
Agree.
Let him still be filming at that point. But have him be in the Chamber match. And have him win the Chamber to get the match with Seth. That way, you can still potentially have Sammy win the Rumble in Saudi. And go after whoever the World Heavyweight Champion is, which hopefully will still be Gunther.
Right.
And you run that back from a couple of years ago.
On terms of
You know, Sammy defeated Gunther at Mania for the IC title. Sammy's alter ego defeated Walter for the WXW Heavyweight Championship.
That's correct.
So you've got the history there for you to touch on. No, don't look at me crazy like that, boy. I've done my research.
I didn't know.
Yeah. Sammy's alter ego defeated Walter back in the day.
That's right. Very good, JJ.
Now, back to the question that I know you're waiting for me to answer about who would you cast in Street Fighter roles?
Yes.
Don't laugh at the first one. The others, I think, are going to be a little bit better, but don't laugh at the first one. But Akira Tozawa is right. I think it would help turn Tozawa into a more serious character and give him that rub that he desperately needs to get out of the Alpha Academy, Alpha Babes, as Maxine's calling it now, sphere.
Problem with that, though, he needs way more muscle mass to be Ryu. I'm sorry, but like he is like.
He can wear like a muscle suit or probably,
Ryu.
you know.
I was going
Hollywood.
to say it's not like Mark Ruffalo is 70 feet tall and green.
That's accurate.
You can make him Fei Long instead.
I'm just saying, like you can movie magic, James.
Exactly.
Listen, all I'm
That's
saying,
what Disney is all about, right, Jeff? The magic.
I was gonna say, as long as they do it that way, because otherwise that's gonna be one hell of a hellacious bulking season, if I do say so myself.
I mean, Maxine could probably pull off the camo and be a Cammy, honestly. So I mean, you know.
I don't know. Kylie Minogue had some certain features that filled out that jumper. We'll just leave it there. So I think you would at least want like a Natalia
Habubkin
to fill out that outfit. And I wasn't even going to go for any of the women.
Sorry.
Okay? I
Sorry,
wasn't
Jeff.
going to go for any of the women.
Oh, that
And here's another one for you.
Go for it.
Angel as Vega.
That works. That absolutely
actually, yes.
works. If there's somebody that definitely should be in the Street Fighter movie, it might as well be WWE's biggest cosplayer. By the way, damn it, James, you freaking idiot!
Yeah, I gotta have that one coming.
Yeah, put Angel from Los Garza as Vega.
Yeah, he's got that machismo. He can make the style work. I wonder what's.
He's got the long hair. He's got the body for it. Put on the little, Phantom of the Opera-esque mask that he wears.
That's right. Should I just have a picture of the Street Fighter game select screen and we just try and cast everybody, or should we just move on?
Alexa Bliss as Jury.
See, you're getting to the characters that I'm not that familiar with that I
They're
think
newer.
are out of
Sorry,
the
yeah, fair. Yeah.
Newer. There's newer, James. That's newer.
Yeah.
Have Rusev as Zangief.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yes.
Zangief Putria. Zangief Machka.
Jacob Fatu as E Honda.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would work.
Wow.
Yeah.
That'd be a nice nod to Uncle Rodney. Like, I like that. That's good shit. That's
Either
good
that
shit.
or do JC Mateo, do Jeff Cobb.
Jeff Cobb or Bronson Reed could work too in those roles.
Honestly, either one could, if we're being perfectly honest.
Bro, old school have Tatanka be T-Hawk.
Yes, actually. Yeah, you know what? I am not mad at that one.
Okay, Chris Chapman's still in shape. Why not? Shit.
I got one more for you.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Oba Femi is Balrog.
Yeah. I mean, he's got the size and it.
The only
you see
I don't mind that. I don't mind that. But hold on. Hear me out. Elijah Holyfield as Balrog. Because if anybody should play as fucking Balrog, it should be the son of the legendary boxer.
I feel you, but he hasn't made enough of a name yet. Which, I mean, I guess that would just make him cheaper for the casting, but, if you want names, then you want to go with names people are going to recognize. And, Holyfield is a name people will know, but nobody knows Elijah.
Yeah, exactly.
To be fair, Jay, Mark Calloway hadn't done fuck all for Suburban Commando.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, he hadn't been Undertaker, but didn't he still have the WCW run?
Okay, right, but what I'm saying is he wasn't the superstar that would warrant a superstar booking like that opposite Hogan.
Fair.
So having Holyfield's kid be in there, it's like, Holyfield, it's Evander's son. The conversation will generate.
See, I'd have Master Bison himself be played as Gunther, but I don't know.
I like that.
Or Kaiser. Kaiser's a little bit more flamboyant.
He can, but Bison's a
JJ, I got a funny one. You
gotta
gotta have
Julia plated with that flamboyancy. Go ahead, Walter.
Yeah, you gotta have Kofi Kingston play DJ just so he has to be a
Yes,
Jamaican
I was
accent
just
again.
gonna say that. Yeah, him playing as DJ from 4. It's showtime. He could totally pull it off. Yeah.
Okay, now you're getting into characters I'm not familiar with.
And then just have Hunter and Sean walk in and go, "Are you supposed to be Jamaican?" For no reason to walk back off, and they can't.
He's one from Jamaica. That's the only reason I said that.
I wonder though, because to JJ's point, the unfamiliarity changing channels. What Street Fighter game is this based off as far as the cast go? Because it's the newer cast. JJ, for example, you're a little bit lost because Jury came in the later. This guy's is actually the Street Fighter 2 roster. Jeff, JJ, I imagine you know all these characters. This is Street Fighter 2. Did you familiar with this cast?
I'm familiar with most of them. There's a couple of images that I don't recognize, but then again, it's been years.
Oh yeah.
Or, excuse me. Since we're doing movies, let me go Sandlot. It is summertime. Yesterday was the 4th of July. They played their one night game a year. Forever. Since I played Street Fighter 2.
Fair enough. Well, that being said, great combo, guys, of conversation, thoughts, and outlook. And again, as far as I'm concerned, I'm still standing with my long-term storytelling that I said on the review. Someone has to pass the torch like Ruthless Aggression era John Cena took from Kurt Angle. And the only way that happens if John Cena has the title and his final date before he ruins wrestling forever. He's holding that title until December. He's holding it until Ruthless Aggression. And if it's not Jacob Fatu or Braun Breaker, I don't know who the flippin' hell WWE can make be the leader of the next generation. Babyface, Deadpool Vigilante, or semi-heel combined. Don't know. WWE, you got fracking 5 months to figure that shit out.
Noah, what if they say his name and he appears?
Joe Hendry?
To be that final guy.
That's what I said during my speech. You could make it Joe Hendry. Like,
And I'm not saying he has to be the last. It would be cool. It'd be a major rub for Joe Hendry. I really think that all depends on how things go at Slammiversary, personally. I would love if Santana became the champion. Don't get me wrong. I love Santana. I was so fucking proud of him at Rebellion. But I got to believe, no pun intended, that they're going to put the title back with Joe Hendry. But if they don't, what if, man? What if Joe Hendry's the guy?
It's got to be a reason. What do I always say about triple threats? Buffer fall person. It got to be some sort of reason why it's a triple threat at Slammiversary, to your point. But Joe Hendry beating John Cena?
I don't think they'll pull the trigger on that unless Joe Hendry's actually signed to a WWE contract instead of TNA.
That's a valid point too. But no, you say Joe Hendry, the TNA champion being in the Royal Rumble, the TNA champion being at WrestleMania. They both happened this year.
I guess that's fair.
An NXT person winning the TNA title happened too.
Well, that's still a crime against TNA, and I stand by that, especially with his company. But I'll leave that alone for now because that will kind of go into.
Hey, I am affiliated with royalty when it comes to TNA. I am all kinds of pissed off about this whole fucking thing. Okay.
And now your royalty is the court jester for Trick Williams after his first-class address.
Hey, you know what? I don't care because it's awesome. Because he's on TV every week. I don't give a shit.
Wait, who?
Frankie.
Damn it.
Yeah, Frankie. Yeah, I agree.
And you know what? There's strife in the Kazarian house because the Blue Jays beat the Angels today. So I don't want to hear about it anymore.
Well, the hockey is thankfully for me anyway. All right. Well, before we take our next commercial break, Walter, James, you were not involved in the conversation, so I'm just going to simply ask you to give your thoughts on this. And James, I will start to you. When will the doctor see you? Dr. Baker DMD. Do you think she'll be seen once again in a wrestling ring in AEW, if not somewhere else, or once and for all in just her dentistry? Based on this tweet about quality of a product is the same no matter what place you get it. The only difference is the price. Wait. Red herring, work, shoot. What do you think's next for Dr. Baker DMD?
probably on an interview with John Doe from New York. No, in all seriousness.
Fucker.
Okay, everybody knows my thoughts on Dr. Britt Baker.
Oh, you think?
So for those who don't know, I did not like how she handled herself in AEW when it came to the Thunder Rosa shit. Thunder Rosa still hasn't recovered, and don't get me wrong, well, I think both are to blame. That woman took it way too far. And it is evident of that because she has since been ixnayed out of the company for the most part because of a incident that happened recently with the two top baby faces of the company, even though one's a heel, but I digress, and Will Ospreay and MJF. So, yeah, I don't think any locker room wants that drama, but if she's gonna go in any company, it's probably going to be with a good girl clause, just like one Phillip Brooks, and probably going to go to the Fed. Going to go to the E. There's nothing for her in this industry at this point because I think she has made such a reputation for herself that no indie, except for maybe a select few NWA, is going to work with her. So, I mean, that's just my thought. I'm biased. So, I'm just going to put that out there.
Well, at least you're honest, you know, and I respect that.
My reasonings are sound if you unfortunately know the situation, which I unfortunately do. So,
Walter, is there anything you want to add while James is focusing on another wrestling ring? We talked about, of course, our other profession, dentistry. In this world, you can have your cake and eat it too, they would say, but you also can't always get what you want. Is she more, passionate of focusing on wrestling? Or does she may want to focus more on her discipline outside than her other profession, dentistry, to just, for a little bit of this for that? The virtual side. Dion Peralta pursuing higher education, master's degree in history, etc. She's taking independent bookings, of course, though, on other companies such as GW. And she's still keeping involved in wrestling, not necessarily storyline, but she's still doing what she loves, and that's working in the ring. For Britt, though, it's one of those things where it's like she got cash like an individual booking like other talents. I mean,
was I the only one that just heard him cut out completely?
For example,
I guess yeah.
But Walter, what's your thoughts towards this? When do you think the doctor will see you? Is it just a work? You're going to be back in AEW as soon as next weekend? Or, again, James, calm down. You already had your turn.
I'm good. I thought I lost you for a second. My headphones did that stupid thing again. I'm good.
Fair enough. What do you think about Databreaker DMD's thoughts towards what her future could be? Still with AEW, still with wrestling, focus only on dentistry. You gotta imagine if she goes to WWE, the dentistry fan will be calling the question whether or not she continue to do that, at least on the schedule she does it right now. What do you think?
I'll tell you one thing. If she ever signs with the E, and you don't have Glenn Jacob be her manager or bring her out to the ring at least once, you missed the boat.
Oh no.
Isaac Yankum and Dr. Britt Baker, baby.
Yeah, see, JJ got it.
DDS and DMD together at last. Oh boy.
No, but seriously.
Well, then that's.
I think it's
DM triple DS.
Yep.
Oh my god.
I know where you're going with that, but I'm not gonna react. But anyway,
great.
James brain's broken. Continue, Walter, with your actual point before we go to.
I honestly think it's just a Reddit. I think she's gonna return to AEW, and you already invested this much. I don't know. I don't think her contract is really up, and I don't think he's gonna just let it go. You already invested the money. Get your money back, Tony, and make her the star she deserves to be. I understand she rubs people the wrong way, but don't make the same mistake you made with Punk. You gotta and the Young Bucks and everybody force people to work together and put their differences aside. There's a reason you have this company. Run it, damn it! Stop being afraid to force people to do what you said. You're the boss, no matter what. So force them to do what they're supposed to do. Damn it, they are contracted stars. Make them fulfill their contract. Sorry. And I think she's going to return to AEW. I need a return on that investment if I'm Tony. I know we give Tony all the shit in the world, but as a business person, you need the return on your investment. Why would you do that? Like, why would you just let her go? You've done enough of giving the E your seeing what you don't run people right and then giving it to the E and they completely turn their careers around. Like, and he already said he's going to slow down on signing people, so slow down on letting them go too. Get your investment back on her. I think she goes back to AEW.
All right, well, that's fair. Well, that being said, the help bar has hit 0 on this conversation. So with that, game over. But before that, I just want to enlighten JJ and Jeff real quick. The then roster versus the now roster. This is your current roster on Street Fighter. To James's point about DJ being Kofi Kingston. What am I say?
Yeah, but no Dudley still? I'm mad. They leaving my boy Dudley out. He's my favorite Street Fighter character. I beast with him.
Based on that image, I think Xavier Woods looks more like DJ.
Well, if anybody could teach them the Jamaican accent, there you go.
It doesn't seem hard if you ask Kofi Kingston, who again is African. But anyway, what do I know?
I know. But he could do a good Jamaican accent. It's okay. Well,
that being said, all right. Okay, well, this countdown hit 0. Game over. Good conversation. Cody Rhodes losing at SummerSlam. All right, well, before we get into our main event that James gave you a taste of with his honest opinion, we're going to bring you a little bit of fun in previewing My Hell. Check this trailer out for an upcoming attraction, courtesy of the Simply Reliable Studios. And in advance, I just have one word to say. Damn it.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Damn it.
Wait
Hey.
a whole.
How are you? Damn it, Noah. Serious.
Wait, who edited this?
I did, James.
Wow. JJ, I'm not even, no lie, as I guess the professional editor in the room here, that was like your fucking greatest work you've ever done. Like, I'm not even bullshitting. I know he's probably brought the tears. Like, he's damn near about to cry. That was, wow. I got goosebumps watching that whole thing, dude. Like, wow. Everybody, round of applause right now. Everybody, round of applause right now. Everybody. Wow. Wow.
Well,
No,
in honor of my favorite movie that I usually watch on the 4th of July, since that was yesterday, even though I was unable to watch it because I worked, in the words of George M. Cohan, portrayed by James Cagney in Yankee Doodle Dandy, my mother thanks you, my father thanks you, my sister thanks you, and rest assured, James, I thank you.
Thank you, brother.
And apparently everybody wants to give me a round of applause except for Noah, who still sits there with his stern look on his face.
No, you got
saying,
it.
Damn it.
Dude. Come on. Dude, that was a master work he just pulled off, man. Come on, you got to give
At
him
least
some
give me props for the video, Noah. Even if you don't look forward to the karaoke's, can you at least give me props for the video?
As somebody who works on PowerPoints for a living in a way and turns them into slideshows, well done, JJ. Your passion is exhibited by your professionalism and your creativity. And it shows here in that trailer that captures what you truly embrace, Disney. All right, back to the actual stuff here on hand. Good grief, almighty God.
I will tell you, the first person that saw that outside of me, obviously, was Jeff.
Yeah, we got to hear.
And I told him, I was like, I want your opinion on this. And I told him what I did ahead of time before I showed him the video. He was like, great. So you're insisting on making me cry today. Got you.
Jeff, thoughts?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm a mess again. I just have to say, wow, God, the background noise went away. I thought, oh God, I can hear again. Sorry, Jay. I'm not trying to be. It's like, wow.
Hey, there you go.
Okay. Oh fuck. I am so unbelievably honored to, first of all, the chat room knows, or the group chat knows, but the chat room, the viewers do not know yet. I do officially have the 19th off. I will be part of that live in person as the show is running. So I'm very happy about that. I also have the 17th off. So the actual park anniversary, I'll be going in strictly as a guest. I get to go play. I get to enjoy. I'm going to be there starting at 4 a.m. the 17th because I'm a crazy person.
Yeah.
But I am so unbelievably honored to be able to be part of the karaoke stream. There's been a lot of chatter about my involvement with Reliable Studios for the better part of this year, and I am just so unbelievably tickled that I get to be part of this. It's not just Disneyland's 70th anniversary, and I'll talk more about it in the plugs later. But it's the anniversary of the entire division of the company when you think about it, really, because Disneyland was closed. So what is now known as Disney Experiences, Disney Parks, Disney, whatever the hell you want to call the different theme parks around the world, this is our anniversary. Like it's the division of the company's anniversary, so it's a big friggin' deal next Thursday. I'm not trying to overemphasize how major this is for everybody involved in the company, and to be able to celebrate it by being here with you yahoos 2 days later and sing the songs of Disney, and I'm even more proud. Well, maybe not entirely proud because I did insist on it, that I'm opening the show with one of the songs that I had purposely allocated to me, that I actually had it asked to be assigned to me. I get to open the show after that beautiful intro that JJ has put together. That's going to be how we start the show. But anyway, we'll talk more about the plugs, but you read the trailer now, so I'm off Hakakama now anyway. So I figured I would just get that out really quick before we go into a very heavy topic. It's probably going to stir up a lot of shit here, James. A lot of shit going on.
A lot of bullshit will be discussed.
Bullshit.
It's already been leaking throughout the night from James Heber particularly. So without further ado, after that little emotional roller coaster of everyone not name I, because I refuse to show emotion like that, let's go ahead and move. Like I said, while you were being honest and genuine, a lot of people in this conversation aren't. And let's be honest here, sometimes we're all guilty of it. Others don't know when they're always guilty of it. Let's go ahead and get right into our main event. And simply put, Ash, I asked you what the word of the day was earlier during a collision watch along. Let me Mark Briscoe you with the word of the day here in the main event being hypocrisy or maybe inconsistency. We're going to talk about hypocrisy, inconsistency in the IWC. Try saying that 5 times fast. It goes like this. Hypocrisy in the IWC. Hypocrisy is a word you can find in the Oxford Dictionary. If you don't know what it means, you can ask Siri Alexa, folks, because you probably won't understand what it means prior to me breaking it down for you in a way. What does it mean when you figure about this versus that? When you figure about the now versus the then? When you say CM Punk's a hypocrite for going to Saudi, yet John Cena refused to work one point with WWE at the World Cup due to the murder of someone there, and that makes CM Punk a hypocrite now, but John Cena now isn't, since he told CM Punk, the only way you're going to wrestle me is over there in Country Redacted. After used to call at the time due to the murder of that individual, Jamal Khashoggi. What is hypocrisy when it comes to kind of programming? We only focus on AEW and WWE kind of program with AEW all in Texas and the Great American Bash at the same day, same time, Saturday. And of course, you also have counter programming on Friday, though, with the smaller companies that no one wants to give an iota about, it feels like, when Ring of Honor, HOG, and JCW are all running on the same day, same state, my type freaking ad. And let's go ahead and talk about the real weekend elephants in the room. Yeah! Thank you, Trish. Yeah, fuck you, Goldberg. What is it when you say, screw this legend, but thank you to this legend, when both are taking a spot from a current individual, why one more so might be looking to wrestle his final match in front of his kid. The other one might be looking to wrestle another match, but maybe become a champion in front of their kid. And why one is maybe held in a higher regard due to absolute talent, while the other one is held in a lesser regard due to botching 2-move tricks. Again, the inconsistency of what you think now versus what you think then versus the same type of theme that is going on throughout the wrestling business. Hypocrisy is running wild, and it's all around us, brother and sisters. So that being said, we are going to dissect your minds in this therapy session of what you believe yours or others' itinerary or views are on the word hypocrisy and how we all are inconsistent, but whether we want to admit it or not, this is also basically anonymous. You don't have to call yourself out, but you might as well say, hello, my name is blank, and I am a hypocrite at least one time in my life when it comes to professional wrestling. Now, considering somebody wanted to just sprinkle his way through this conversation, let him dump the entire contents on his plate. James, you kick things off. What is your take on the inconsistency of hypocrisy? Why some might just call it honest opinion, others might call it a biased analysis, others might simply say, this is who I am, this is what I think. Am I wrong for doing that? Go ahead and kick things off before we bring in another guest to join in the shenanigans. James, the floor is yours.
Oh, hypocrisy in the IWC goes like goddamn chocolate and oil. Yeah. Yeah, and it's just about the same type of pleasantries as you just said with that brother.
That's a comparison. Like what?
It's a comparison. Look, professional wrestling is meant to be an art form of multiple different genres. That's number one. There are people who are hypocrites for enjoying one and not the other, vice versa. It happens all the time. I should know because I dealt with it for years and still kind of dealing with it, which is okay. I know people have their takes, and that is okay. Now, as far as the Punk thing goes, oh boy. I'm going to tell you, I stand by this, and I know a lot of people want to just hate on him because of what he did to AEW. And I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong because he definitely had his share of that shit pie. We have covered it ad nauseum on this channel. However,
any times with my sunglasses at night. Continue.
However, there is plenty of reasons to dislike Punk. Don't make up some bullshit. People can fucking change their minds. Whether you agree with them changing their minds, that's a whole other conversation for a different time.
Mm-hmm.
The fact of the matter is, we did not know all the facts of that person's murder until they came out from that government themselves. Whether you choose to believe that government or not is totally valid up to you. Punk believed in that word. Does that make him a hypocrite? If you think it does because it's not the truth, then that makes Cena a hypocrite. That makes Sami Zayn a hypocrite. That makes Kevin Owens a hypocrite. That makes Aleister Black a hypocrite. That makes Zelina Vega a hypocrite. Shall I go down the list of people who refuse to go to Shouty shows after that second show and the nonsense behind it politically in 2019 and show you that entire goddamn rap sheet? I don't think I do. It's not being a hypocrite if you grow and mature. Shit happens. People can change. I'm not saying that everything about what Punk did and how he goes about this is entirely correct, but I'm saying people can change their minds. And I don't think it was about the money, because newsflash, folks, in case you didn't follow what the fuck was going on in the world, Punk tried to bow out after the shit that was going on in the world because he didn't feel it was safe. And the only reason is because they pulled out a clause that he had signed when he left the other company. The good boy clause, do we remember this? Because I sure do. Pepperidge Farm fucking remembers. It's convenient how we forget that that was a thing. I'm just saying, I'm not saying he was forced into it. He probably was okay with doing it. There probably wasn't really much forcing going on. But I bet you there was worried if he was trying to pull out at the last minute. The situation's always going to be complicated there. We don't know everything. We're never going to know everything. That said, we didn't cover the event because of exactly the reason Punk tried to bow out at the last minute to begin with. Because we did not feel like it was safe for the workers to be there. I still stand by it. I will still stand on that business until it's over. And we know it's over in the Middle East. Period. That's consistency. Many people don't have that consistency. I'd like to think that we do. I like to think that the groups that I join do. And that's why I'm a part of those groups. That's it. And hi, Hammers. Good to see you.
Appreciate you, Hammers.
Sydney.
Thank you for tuning in. And thank you, James, for
Pretty much
giving your thoughts on the whole hypocritical outlook of Saudi Arabia choices. Now,
and before you go to the next person, real quick, as a result of people being hypocrites, not to diss our guest, but because I actually have to go, I'm going to take a hypocrisy in the toilet right now. That's pee. That's a different variation of pee. All right, I'll be back.
Everybody unmute and please say it with me on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Damn it,
James, you freaking idiot.
And James is taking a Liaki.
That actually sounds more sensible. That being said, teleporting in from the morphing grid is the mighty Dattila.
Hey. Finally. Hey. There's
There we
7
go.
of us. There's 7 of us, which means you can all be a color. I'm pink, Ash is yellow, and then you guys decide what other colors you guys are. I know JJ is green.
Did you already decide what I was? I don't even know what I am anymore, dadgummit.
You can be black, since you always wear black.
Yeah, that's fair. All
Well,
right.
Batter, because he technically is the leader tonight, he can be red.
Okay.
Well, all right, fair enough. Well, anyway, Dattila, welcome to the conversation. We're talking about a very unique topic in what some might just call you're fickle. This goes beyond that. This is just foolish thinking. This is hypocrisy, inconsistency in the IWC. James gave his thoughts basically on the whole Saudi Arabia outlook. CM Punk going now, why John Cena decided not to go then. Let's go ahead and look at other aspects here. Counter programming. The bigger companies counter programming to AEW, NXT, WWE. Oh my. But the minor companies, Ring of Honor, GCW, HOG, God forbid TNA one time runs against something not named WWE or AEW. It's all right. It's not the big deal. Again, where's the consistency? If you have a problem with something going up against something else, it shouldn't matter the scope of it, all right? Everything is truly something to think about. And
something.
Damn it. And then freaking, the CM Punk, John Cena thing. Yeah, one was defined by, the other one was defined by lockdown. But again, there's still the same level of you should figure about what the fuck, just to take it from Natalie. So what do you think about this conversation, the inconsistency of how people look at a situation in the same area, but defined by a different element, whether person or company? What's your thoughts towards this topic?
Okay, you lost me. I'm sorry.
That's fair. I don't have a degree in psychology, but bottom line.
Okay, are you asking me like what my takes are on WWE counter
on people having a piss fit on WWE, NXT, and AEW counter program each other when smaller companies like Ring of Honor, GCW, and HOG don't, basically, like in a way. JJ, I do see your hand. Do you want to try and further elaborate this? Go for it.
Yeah, let me try and break it down for you, Dattila. So the topic at hand is general hypocrisy within the WWE. Why is CM Punk a hypocrite for going to Saudi Arabia, but John Cena isn't, when he said he wasn't going to go over there after the murder of, what was the gentleman's name again?
Jamal Khashoggi.
Why is WWE, evil and vilified for counter programming All In with Great American Bash, Saturday Night's Main Event, Evolution, but GCW and House of Glory, which are running both in Texas, while AEW's Ring of Honor is doing Supercard of Honor, nobody gives a shit about that. Why is Trish coming back causing people to blow their proverbial loads, and she's getting a PLE spot at Evolution, fighting for the championship, taking a spot away from a woman that now just has to get thrown into that bullshit battle royal instead of getting a legitimate opportunity? But people are so fucking pissed that Goldberg is getting a match against Gunther in Atlanta, in his hometown, in front of his kids. General hypocrisy within the IWC. Those are the 3 most current examples.
Okay. Okay. I got it now. Okay.
Yep.
As far as the counter program concerns, AEW has counter programmed TNA a couple times in the past.
Oh yeah.
They've countered them. So I mean, it goes both ways, and WWE will always be petty. I remember Double or Nothing 2022. I didn't see it, but people were posting pictures of them, of a van driving around T-Mobile Arena with Cody Rhodes' face on it, promoting Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I remember that.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I feel like the counter program is to be expected. And you're gonna watch what you're gonna watch.
Oh yeah.
So it is what it is. If you're looking forward to Gunther versus Goldberg, you're gonna watch Saturday night's main event. If you're looking forward to Tony Storm versus Mercedes Moné, you're gonna watch All In, or you might watch both. It doesn't really matter.
That's a great image there. Yep, that's about right.
So that's my take on that.
It's good.
As far as Trish and Goldberg are concerned, for me personally, I really am not looking forward to Goldberg versus Gunter. That's just me personally. If it would have happened a couple years ago, I probably would have tuned in, but I'm just not looking forward to it. You know, at least with Trish, like Trish can still go. She could still wrestle. I think with Goldberg, it's more kind of like, how good is this match going to be? I mean, Gunter might get a good match out of him, but I don't know. I am curious to see it, but I'm not excited for it.
That's fair. Just to put this in perspective, I want everybody to either do the yeah or to this when I put it up on the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Saturday's main event. Evolution.
Yeah.
I rest my case, Your Honor. Okay, good stuff to tell us.
I mean, so I only have one thing to add to everything because that was the one part of the hypocrisy I didn't actually comment on, and I'll be very quick with this. To the wrestling companies and everybody getting butthurt that there's counter programming with AEW to WWE. No mention of Ring of Honor, no mention of House of Glory, no mention of GCW doing the same thing. There's only so many days in a week.
True, but
Can we just chop it up to that for once?
Well, you could also just book it somewhere else. Like, here's the thing. How far in advance is something booked? And it's a coincidence.
Something.
Damn it.
Oh,
God damn
And
it.
it's a coincidence. I am literally being choked by my own hubris because I'm the host, so I can't freaking do my own gimmick. This sucks. Damn you, JJ. Freaking hell. What was I saying? Damn it. How far in advance is something booked, let alone the same area, same state? Hell, same venues around each other. God forbid a tourist attraction that features a ton of people is a block away. I'm pretty sure somebody told me the Beyonce concert is pretty much within the same block of the Evolution show. And whether or not you're a wrestling fan, Beyonce singing is going to get everybody going there because as much as I hate to say it, mainstream music, less Cardi B, freaking is more popular than wrestling. What the fuck is that shit, awful bullshit music promo I heard on the
Beyonce's literally across the street.
Yeah,
and thank you for that. That being said, Walter, while you're raging like the guy from Inside Out, good movie. Yes, when I was once to read Lamb and Little Ella, maybe watch that. Walter, why don't you go ahead and give your thoughts next towards this hypocrisy and consistency?
Hold on, can I say one last thing before Walter goes?
Absolutely.
I'm just saying, like, I think more people should be upset about the fact that Evolution was just kind of thrown together last minute instead of giving the natural build that it deserves.
Yeah.
You know? That's what more people should be upset about.
It wouldn't surprise me if some people in the locker room are upset about that, and whether dirt sheets say that or they say that themselves through a cryptic tweet about water pricing is a whole different story. Go ahead, Walter.
In terms of hypocrisy, I think we all can be a little hypocritical. I'll be the first to admit it. It's like, for instance, I think it depends on what you like. Like, for instance, people with WWE and Logan Paul and Bad Bunny and everything, they go, I'm sick of these celebrities being involved in wrestling, but if they like AEW, they don't say shit about AJ Boom being involved. They like, is that his name? Boom AJ, whatever his name is. Yeah.
That's accurate.
And the Rizzler or whatever, they don't say nothing. So it has to do with like favoritism, whatever you like, and I think it's just easy to pick on WWE because they've been around so long. They're pictured as the big bully in town, and in terms of the counterproductive, so it's easy to criticize WWE when other companies do it. I don't care. To me, it gives us more. I have a different perspective because we run YouTube and we do these shows. It just gives us more content. So counterproduct all you want, dude, because you're helping us out. So I don't care. But like, I do get why people get pissed. Exactly. The only problem is that we have to break our teams and do a bunch of simulcasts, but we can work it out. But as long as the times are different, it could work out for us. But everybody's hypocritical. In terms of CM Punk, I agree with James. People have the right to change their mind. He said something while he was bitter and still a little upset. Like the way he felt he was treated in WWE, it kind of hurt. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so bitter and upset. So at that time, he said something to lash out. People can ask for forgiveness and change. That's like people who divorce and then get back together. Like people are allowed to change. Look at Rusev and Lana. They're working it out somehow. So, like, I don't know. Just to me, the IWC, just get over your fucking self. That's what it is. People just want something to complain about for complaint's sake. It's the world we live in. Like it's like the same people that get offended for other people. It's like if the person that it affects doesn't get offended and you do, get the fuck. Who are you? Like mind your business. It's like the same thing. Like so it happens. There's nothing. It's the world we live in. There's nothing we can do about it. So I don't understand why getting an uproar for it. Just enjoy the fandom. Enjoy what's on TV. Hey, it gives you more options of what to do to watch on TV in terms of when they produce everything or counter production. So watch what you want to watch and enjoy it. You can watch one thing and enjoy it without criticizing the other.
Case in point, that's what we literally do here. Now, do we suddenly have those moments? Of course, again, we all have that hubris. None of us are perfect, but there are those that don't understand when they're being over hypocritive instead of just, being maybe humorous. And I do chalk up some of the stuff we do here to humor. And I'm not just talking about the Blue Thunder Bomb, including that clip, damn it. But that being said, it is one of those things. Jeff, I see you laughing. Damn it.
Wait. A blue Thunder Bomb through a table after some hardcore shit still didn't win a match tonight. Just saying. And it was a male giving a blue Thunder Bomb to a woman.
A blue off of a flaming rope still couldn't get a 3 count.
Wasn't there an instance where where somebody won with the Blue Thunder Bomb? I think it was in AEW.
Yeah, Chester won in Ring of Honor against Tommy Billington. Anyway,
Sammy beat someone last year. I forgot who it was, but he did accomplish it, and then we were all like, "What does that say about him?"
Yeah, exactly. All right. Anyway, moving on to our next person. Dadgum. Let's see here. We got 3 people. Like I said, you already know where I stand, all right? There's a reason why I'm not wearing the sunglasses. I have to host this shit. But you all know where I stand. Just enjoy life and enjoy wrestling. No winners, losers, no betters. I told Ash for Bam during our call, there are levels of passion to this business when it comes to being a fan. There are levels of criticism when it comes to being a fan. And then there's just the jack-offs that don't know how to jack off. That are just straight up bullying and trying to get a freaking tick off because they can actually type on a keyboard versus, tweet their own cock. But that being said, it's one of those things right there where I said what I said.
Yeah, you did.
You sure did.
Sorry, Attila. Sorry, Ash. Don't worry about that.
That's all good.
Anyway.
What?
I think I broke Attila.
I
You
mean,
all right?
And come on, Noah, you've heard me say some outlandish things. Like
I was about to say, Ash does not need apologizing or to be spoken for. She and I have
9 out of 100.
had some
It's
moments.
every other person on this panel. 10 out of 100. I surprise you guys. You gave me the host seat. I'm going to give you the hot take. It's as simple as that.
That's true.
Be careful what you call for. But that being said, bottom line, watch W if you're a fan. Watch AW if you're a fan. Watch Insert Company if you're a fan. Watch this person if you're a fan. That goes without saying when it comes to us.
You watch NXT.
Well then. Anyway, the bottom line.
Well, if you talk to the people in the spaces, and Walter, Ash, and James will attest to this because they participate in the spaces, TNA is just a money laundering company.
shit. According to one person, and you know what? Ask that same person how they felt about WWE and ECW.
Yeah, how's your hot take?
Same.
now
Well,
versus
to
your hot
be fair,
take then?
it was kind of a little bit.
I mean,
It kind of
again,
was.
Wrong, right, chocolate, vanilla, swirled. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, everyone is
It
their own flavor.
was an attorney. I'm just
Oh, good grief. And again, I'm still sitting predicting all 3 of these shows this coming week alone and Ring of Honor. So what does that tell you? I really don't have no infinite bias. The ways of the simple man, as I told Ash. You watch highlights for stuff you just keep up with because there's a little bit that you like in that. You watch the actual stuff you like because you thoroughly enjoy that. And then you fit everything else in when you can because you're just a fan of the business. Why do you think I spent today watching Marigold, Stardom, and Noah before calling AEW with you? Again, it was a great time.
Yeah, well, I surprised myself with the call I made.
Yeah, exactly. You got technique. Now you just got to bring it more out. And I really am impressed with you. Anyway, bottom line, everyone's going to be their own fan.
When it was story time with Adam Cole, baby.
She was fine. She listened, and
Yeah.
the more of the story is Adam Cole will fight whoever, but if they want to fight one-on-one, they got to earn it, and you'll find
I
it out
actually
on
did
Collision.
play-by-play, like proper play-by-play.
You did. That's what I'm calling picture my ass. Still fuck television. But anyway, bottom line, people are going to be what they're going to be. I don't need to go on a keyboard and let people know my thoughts. If it doesn't agree with them, that's their own jurisdiction. That's my own opinion. I watch what I watch. I go, hello. I talk about the takes that happen on wrestling based on what I watch, when I watch. For me, wrestling doesn't have a timeline, and it definitely doesn't have it defined by the profit line when it comes to my fandom. So that's all I got to say about that. Stop being such hypocritical idiots. And for those that aren't, keep it that way. Just don't become hypocritical in your takes. Jeff, let's go to you next. And we'll go with Ash and Jerry to close this out. What you got to say towards this topic? And again, just for you. Yaha.
Yeah, right. So, first of all, do you say hello or do you say hi, guys? Hi, guys.
More often I say hello.
Okay.
But please continue.
Okay, anyway. Yeah. All right. So, I'm going to actually bring up the thing that was sent in the chat there. I can itemize it down because that's what I do. All right. All right. So, let's see. So, Punk being a hypocrite and John Cena not being a hypocrite. This has been said in almost every podcast I listen to, participate in, have been a part of over the years. Are we not, as human beings, supposed to grow and become better than we were the day before, the minute before, the second before? Right?
I would hope.
Punk sent that post out in a moment of he was still fuck WWE and fuck everybody there and blah, 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 and you know, he targeted. I don't remember if he targeted the Miz during the pipe bomb promo, JJ. You have to help me out on that, but Miz was definitely on the shit list because of him main eventing WrestleMania and not him. So Miz was in the wrong place at the wrong time, but it was also he was part of it. So, but that was how many years ago, and Punk was still waist deep in the pity party for himself and the bitterness that WWE had caused in him. He's not allowed to change. He's not allowed to be a better person or be a forgiving person or have a different viewpoint. And yeah, people are going to say, oh, it's about the money. You know what? I got news for you, folks. We live in a capitalist world. Everything's about the fucking money. Okay? It is what it is. It just is what the fuck it is. And if you don't understand that at this point in your existence, that's a you problem, not a us problem, not a Phil Brooks problem, not a John Cena problem. That's a you problem, and get the fuck over it. John not going to Saudi Arabia for as long as he was not going to Saudi Arabia. Think about when the agreement with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia was reached. John was already a part-timer. He was not the WWE champion. He was not the World Heavyweight champion. He was not the guy. He's the guy right now. He's on his last tour. The Saudis are major on nostalgia. John's doing part nostalgia, part final run, part completely flipping the script. Of course he's going to be at this show. Give me a fucking break. Let's see. The counter programming. Shut the fuck up, Roddy. Like, Jesus Christ. I'm so over this.
Can I generally ask you this while you broke out laughing, while I basically just called everybody out for their, what's the word I'm looking for? Choice of virginity. Pity for virginity. Maybe that's it. Or, technology. I don't know. Yeah, people can judge themselves.
Programming has been going on since Vince started his March to expansion. Like, fuck, guys.
Thank you. And the fact that X exists, apparently, now it's the tug of the world. Continue.
Seriously, I'd rather just the internet community take a lead from the actual Twix. Get a fucking candy bar and chill the fuck out about it. Have a Snickers instead. Like, for real.
Or, have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
God damn. I'll have a whatchamacallit, because that's all it amounts to. Whatchamacallit at this point. Jesus Christ. That's really what it is on that. And as far as the hypocrisy between Goldberg and Trish, I am fully unapologetic. I don't give a fuck. I don't. I give not as. Yeah, exactly. I created that image. I have never liked that meme ever, but it fits me so well for this next weekend. Oh my god!
It is
And look,
hilarious, though. I'm not gonna lie.
and look, yes, I am unapologetically a critic of Goldberg. Like people crawl up my ass about it on the weekly about it on different shows because yeah, just get over it. And you know what? They're right. I should, but I'm not gonna. I've never been a fan of Goldberg. It has very little to do with the fact that we were rejected for an interview, and more about the fact that in my fandom, when I was 15 years old, he speared my favorite wrestler of all time halfway across the Georgia Dome to become the World Heavyweight Champion. Like, that is what it is. And I was very much NWO for life, still am. It is NWO for life, folks. I'll talk about that in the plug later. Yeah, and he also beat Scott Hall that night. So it's not a recency bias toward Goldberg. I have never liked the act. I never liked the Ultimate Warrior act. But in 2014, all of a sudden, we're supposed to be forgiving of this person who's been legitimately a horrible person. But to that point, is Jim Hellwig not allowed to change and become a different person? And from the late 90s, early 2000s, where he was very outspoken and came off very, very poorly in his posts. But when he came back, he seemed like he would become a changed man. And a lot of us, including me, did not let him give him the benefit of the doubt. They even, captured a moment between him and Hogan that even still it was okay, we're cool, but we're not going to be where we were, right? I think that the human need to be able to change, and yet the human need to not allow others to change, is the very nature of the hypocrisy we're talking about. There is that. So yes, I want so bad for Trish to have that one more world championship. I do. I don't apologize for it. She's my favorite of all time. I will take one more Trish run over 14 more Charlotte runs any fucking day of the week. Okay? And that's
You're a
from
Charlotte
me.
fan.
And that's from me, exactly. I personally, from my observation, I think Ash's career is on a win, not if, like maybe a year or two. I think her knee is more fucked up than they're letting on.
I think you're correct, personally.
That's my opinion, man. So if they're going to give it to Trish in the absence of Liv, and I mentioned this earlier, what are they going to do with Nikki Bella now, man? I was so sure that it was going to be Nikki and Brie against Liv and Raquel.
I was sure it was going to be Nikki versus Liv.
Well, but they were talking about Brie coming back, and I had a conversation today that said, well, I always thought it would be the four-way anyway, and I went, I think the four-way is oh shit, we lost Liv. We need to do something since it's not going to be star-studded, we need to have quantity packed instead. So
exactly.
8 women instead of 2 teams. So, again, just an observation from a fan. I don't know. Yeah. I don't have anybody's number in Connecticut except Walter, so I'm kind of good. I don't think I have your number now. I'm not sure. I have your contact information, but yeah, I fully admit to being a hypocrite when it comes to the Trish Goldberg thing. But as far as the rest of it, fuck it over it. Like, it's so silly. It's so silly. Like, if we're gonna get our panties in a twitch about the counter programming, then just don't watch any of it. Is my take on that. It's the same thing about, I'm gonna deviate from Noah's, wheelhouse here for a minute, but Ash, you are a Canadian, therefore you're a hockey knowledge almost by nature. Free agency was on the 1st, and the Kings picked up a lot of names, including Corey Perry, who has been a long time non-King, and he played for the Ducks for so many years. And I have been breaking out in hives since the 1st over this shit. I can't stand Corey Perry. I can't say the fact that he's going to be in our uniform. It just chaps my ass. But at the same time, I'm not going to stop going to the game. I'm not going to stop wearing the jersey that's just sitting right here, ready to go when we go back to the games in September, October, whatever it is. I'm just not going to cheer for Corey Perry if he's on the ice touching the puck in a Kings uniform. I am going to watch guys' main event on delay because I'm going to be at work next Saturday, so I won't be here next Saturday also for the record. But I'm not going to be happy about Gunther facing Goldberg. I will cheer boisterously for Gunther to annihilate that old man into a final career-ending oblivion once and for all.
Yes.
And then I will watch Evolution, also on delay because I'll be working the 13th. And I will cheer with vim and vigor for my girl Trish to become the women's champion again. And if that makes me a hypocrite, then pop a big old H on the back of my jersey because I believe in that. I believe in Papa H booking it. There you go.
Well said, Jeff. And I love the fact you also use comparisons outside of it because it seems like the biggest demonstration of hypocrisy, inconsistency is heavily publicly displayed, virtually especially, by this self-proclaimed IWC that as much as even I'm not on social media, anyone that's a fan with an outlook of this business, intelligent or not, you're part of this made-up community by those three letters, as much as you may not want to believe that you are. It is what it is. There's a reason why I have the sign downstairs in the living room for shit that happens in my life. But that being said, let's go to our fellow hockey enthusiast that you just spoke about, our Canadian friend Ash. If she wants to add something about hockey, go for it, because honestly, hypocrisy doesn't just exist in wrestling. It exists in all forms. It could exist in the choices you make in what you eat or what you drink, honestly, when you think about it. Judgmental calls are, about to say, Mountain Dew for life. But judgmental calls exist in everybody's life, but it's amazing how much people are oversensitive on a wrestling take than anything else. Then again, you can get oversensitive about anything. Why does Potato Head need a gender? I don't know. Anyway, Ash, let's go ahead and get your thoughts towards this.
Breaking apart.
We don't talk about that. Just like we don't talk about Bruno. Ash, hypocrisy, inconsistency in IWC, you're welcome. Go ahead and talk about your take on this. John Cena, CM Punk, Saudi Arabia choice in going. Counter programming, LOL is a bigger LOL than probably WWE brand split LOL. And I talk about that ad nauseum. And last but certainly not least, Goldberg, Trish Stratus, agree or disagree, settlements and hypocrisy. Go ahead, pal.
Am I allowed to
talk
say
a
gay?
little bit about this during AEW, to be fair, too.
Yeah. Am I allowed to say gay for both matches?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Be honest, damn it. But Jeff,
Also,
I'm actually being honest with you. I 110% agree with you on this.
Also, I'm gonna be real with you guys. I don't really care for Saturday night's main event because there's nothing really on the card that interests me. If I'm going to be brutally honest here.
Yep. I'm kind of the same way, yeah.
All right. So with that being said, hypocrisy in the IWC. Oh boy, don't those two go hand in hand? Don't they?
Yeah, you know.
I swear to God, it's just like. Every day I go on this and I keep saying, I don't get you people, yet I am one of you, because the extreme lengths people go to justify hating and liking certain companies and certain wrestlers, where it's okay for one company to do something, but not the other. It's okay for this wrestler to do something and not this wrestler. And it is so goddamn mind-boggling. It is exhausting. It is frustrating.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a little tip here. This is Simple Man 102 for you. You see this little device I have in my hand? There's a feature under settings called notifications. You know what you can do with apps like the X? You can hit mute. Anyway, please continue.
I do hit mute. I've blocked and I've muted people, and listen, people are allowed to feel the way they do. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're all entitled to our own opinions.
Yeah.
It's just like the way people go about liking and disliking certain things. I'm just like, y'all need to chill.
Touch grass.
Y'all need
Just
to
to tag in for a second, Noah, just because she mutes notifications Doesn't mean she doesn't hear this shit in the spaces she hops into.
Oh, that's fair. I haven't even gotten into that world yet, and Lord
Yeah.
knows if I ever do that.
And I'm sure that's a lot of where that particular opinion is coming from. Is hearing people in spaces.
And I'm just
not
talking
calling out specific names, but just the multiple spaces you've been in. You've heard people in every space do something along those lines. Continue, Ash.
Yeah, I wasn't targeting any specifics. I was just speaking up on the community in general and like how exhausting certain people like takes are. Okay, so it is fun. Yeah, I've mentioned this before. It is funny how people get on CM Punk's ass for doing things that their favorites get away with doing so, which is so dumb. It's just like, is it like, are you really disliking CM Punk doing this and changing his mind, or is there something else involved that where you're not talking about? Because if it's another thing, it's okay to say, you can be honest with yourselves. You don't have to go to like these extreme lengths, like virtual signaling and moral policing to be like, yeah, I don't like this because like, no, just be honest with yourselves. We're not, there's no judgment here.
Be your own fucking person. Damn it. Continue.
It is just like, it's either it's all bad or none of it's bad. And I get by doing this slippery slope thing. I understand it's hard for people to separate the art from the artist, and that's valid as well. It is, and again, like going up and saying, you are guys entitled to feel the way you do, but keep in mind, just because you feel that way, that doesn't mean the other person feels that same way. It's just like both. It's toxic on both sides. There's the I like this, therefore everyone likes this group, and there's the I dislike this, therefore everyone else dislikes it. When that's not always the case, though.
Case in point, Attila likes First Class. I think they're first trash.
Hey, I might be poor and have to fly economy, but that doesn't mean I hate First Class. I like First Class.
I also am a fan of First Class.
I am also a fan of First Class, and there's also a band called First Class Trash, so you can have the best of both worlds.
Attila, I love you, but also, damn it, you knew what I was talking about, and you turned it into a commercial airfare tank. You're brilliant. Continue, Ash. Damn it.
Yeah, it's just like the lamest people who go to justify liking and disliking things. It is hilarious, and I'll admit I'm guilty of this as well, and I've been called out on it. And you know what? I stand by the decision. So, and if I've changed my mind on certain things, I'd be like, yeah, that's how I felt about it then, but I don't feel like this way now, and this is why. And CM Punk's allowed to do the same. Cena's allowed to do the same. Sami Zayn's allowed to do that. Kevin Owens is allowed to do that. Like, we're allowed to like change our minds as people. It's like, sure, there are people who drastically change their minds, but they're valid as that as well. Even though some of it I don't always agree with, but at the same time, I'm just like, you do you. Now, for the counter programming thing,
you know what?
Now, for counter programming, every company is guilty of it. Every company is guilty of it.
Does football games not run at the same time or whatever?
Exactly. And it just, as I said during our collision call, if you're a WWE fan, you're going to watch the WWE shows. If you're an AEW fan, you're going to watch the AEW shows. Or if you're someone who likes both, just watch the shows that interest you first, and then watch the others at a different time. Now, it's going to be harder for the in-house people who actually want to go to the shows to pick both. That's a different story. But as us, as the viewers who aren't attending live, we can pick and choose when and where we want to see them.
The power of DVR.
Mm-hmm. And the internet as well, which is both a blessing and a curse.
Amen to that, sister. Continue.
Now, for the Goldberg and Trista thing, I get people's opinions on this, and I think what it boils down to is the perception one legend has that the other has. Like, people, personal biases one may have aside, when we hear Goldberg comes in, it is just based on how he's been booked recently or as the previous, because Goldberg, usually when he came in, he would just steamroll through everyone and win all the titles. And everyone's like, and because of that, we have it in our minds, they're like, oh shit, Goldberg's going to win the title because based on previous booking. Whereas Trish, on the other hand, sure, did she have some couple wins here and there? Yes, but she mostly came in to put the other person over. So she has that perceived notion that she's going to wrestle Tiffany to put her over, not win the title, which is the complete opposite of how Goldberg has been booked.
Mm-hmm. Well said. Again, you know, Mark Calloway, and Lord knows people are critical about that guy, especially nowadays too. Perception is reality. It's amazing how people could become so critical about something now versus that individual or that. I hate being host sometimes, JJ. Well, at least James is still suffering, so I guess I can still be happy about that. But anyway, what was I saying? Fuck. Oh, yeah. It's amazing how the perception of something now versus something then, even if it's the same situation, same place, same type of storytelling, same type of choice, same type of company decision despite another company, LOL. It's amazing how inconsistent it is when it comes to people's perception that it turns into hypocrisy versus a constructive opinion. And again, look, there are people that are probably taking master and doctor courses, writing a 500-page thesis or dissertation on humanity. It's just one of those things where I'm like, yeah, you'll get the piece of paper, but you still won't fully comprehend what's going on here. Not even Morgan Freeman could narrate a series long enough to give you guys a definitive reason why this exists, or if there actually is a cure to stopping this, because no two people will ever look at everything the same exact way at the same exact time. So there's always is going to be an inconsistent matter. Well, that being said, JJ, you introduced the main event, so go ahead and close out the thoughts on it. Let your mind wander and try and dissect humanity when it comes to the virtual timeline, hypocrisy and consistency in the IWC. This first blank, and last but not least, Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to loop all these things into one because that's kind of what I wanted to try to do with this topic.
That's what I figured.
As opposed to going bit by bit by bit, because we as a collective, as the IWC, need to get away from hypocrisy and inconsistencies. What we need to do is start being consistent. You know, and the one thing that I'm going to focus on here is the counter programming over the other things, because you guys are right. You know, a lot of you guys touched on it. I think Jeff went the most in depth on it, being the historian as he is. Mm-hmm. But this has been happening more or less, and I'm not saying it didn't happen before, but it's been happening pretty regularly ever since Survivor Series was created to go against Starrcade.
Wow, that was before I was born.
And that was 1987 was the first Survivor Series, Jeff? Yes, thumbs up. Okay, so we're looking at almost 40 years of counter programming, of a pay-per-view being started just to compete with the industry standard at this time, which was Starrcade, which had already been around for 4 or 5 years, roughly. 4, thank you.
Give or take, based on what I've learned.
Because Starrcade began in 83. So,
Ooh, it's early. It was that early.
but to the point of the matter, it's only WWE that's catching shit of this. AEW never gets shit when they put Battle of the Belts up against a TNA Saturday pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, it's the networks that ask for it. It's the networks that ask for it. Last I checked, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but Saturday Night's Main Event runs on NBC.
Yes.
Why doesn't the networks ask for it worked here?
Don't know the answer.
You know, we don't know if the networks actually asked for it or if WWE wanted this date or if it was a TKO decision. It doesn't matter to me. But if the networks wanted it, works for Battle of the Belts going up against the TNA pay-per-view, the networks wanted it needs to work for Saturday Night's Main Event going against All In. Otherwise, shut the fuck up. If y'all are pissed off about NXT counter-programming AEW, why aren't you pissed off about House of Glory and fucking GCW counter-programming AEW?
Yep.
And granted, it's Ring of Honor. It's AEW Light. NXT and Saturday Night's Main Event are happening in a completely different state. That would be like me being pissed off and saying that PWG is counter-programming IWA Mid-South.
There's a throwback.
Two companies run the same night, completely different locations. But, oh my God, PWG is counter-programming IWA Mid-South. All the people that were going to be at IWA Mid-South are now going to PWG instead. The fuck? People that are closer to Atlanta are going to go to the WWE ones. People that are closer to Texas are going to go to the AEW ones. You're literally getting pissed off about two companies running shows in completely fucking different states.
Case in point.
It would be different if NXT and Evolution were happening in Texas. I could maybe concede your argument, but they're not. You know what is running in Texas? House of Glory and GCW.
Yep.
But nobody's saying anything about that.
No.
Be consistent or shut the fuck up.
And there you have it. At the end of the day.
And literally, that's the bottom line because the Renegade said so.
And at the end of the day, everybody is hypocritical and there's no end in sight. But it would be super easy if everyone just simply just enjoyed. And shut the fuck up and quit typing.
As far as Goldberg and Trish, I don't care either way. I'm, if you want to be honest, I'm more pissed about Trish than I am Goldberg.
Ooh.
Goldberg is at least on free television.
Uh-oh.
Goldberg is at least on free television. Trish is taking away a spot from any woman on that roster that is there week in and week out. You want Trish to be on Evolution? Throw her in that Battle Royal. Let her win her title shot at SummerSlam. New Jersey's a little bit closer to Canada anyway. Then she can get that title shot, potentially win the women's championship in front of her kids, a little bit closer to home. At least Goldberg is on free network television. And at least Saturday Night Main Event isn't an all-women's show. You're going to get maybe a women's match. You're going to get some men's matches. It is what it is. But you're literally taking away. That could have been somebody from TNA. That could have been Natalia, who's not announced for anything yet. It could have been something with the NWA. It could have been something with one of the other partners, but now it's Trish Stratus. And I love Trish, don't get me wrong. I don't want my words to be misconstrued as Trish Stratus here.
Right.
But Trish is taking a spot on a PL.
Yes.
Goldberg's taking a spot on free television.
Yes.
There's where I find the difference.
Fair enough.
And I see Jeff wants to rebuttal. By all means, I knew as soon as I started speaking ill about his
you triggered the meat
of Stratisfaction.
You triggered the meat.
The Prime Minister of Stratisfaction, that he would have something to say, but
that's fair.
Something.
No.
Damn it, Distilla.
You freaking idiot. You're
I
brilliant.
just
ahead, Jeff.
wonder. Okay, based on the circumstances we have in front of us,
yes.
one half of the tag team champions is injured, and they're filling her spot with Roxanne. They're having that 4-way. Okay, cool. I believe Rhea and Io is booked for Evolution.
That is correct by this graphic. Those are official graphics, courtesy of WWE. Thank you, WWE.
Appreciate you guys. Okay, JJ, who on SmackDown would you book against Tiffany if it's not Trish?
Ooh. He's got to think about that, or he's got to find a place without a background noise. Chelsea Green. Anyway, that's the one I would like to see. I think she deserves it.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one, Noah.
Okay, so let me frame my question as JJ is trying to find a proper spot. Based on the way everybody has currently been booked on SmackDown, whether against Tiffany already or not, who do you put in that challenger role?
Well,
based on the roster and the presentation of everybody right now.
Well, if you're going to just open challenge, it's a who's who. Like I said, Chelsea Green was my first one. She was the United States champion. I'd say from mid-card workhorse, you finally get a chance at the world title. She also has history, I believe. I think she faced Tiffany Stratton one other time. And, of course, Tiffany Stratton pushed her off the Money in the Bank ladder match where Tiffany won the briefcase. I've seen enough Nia fracking Jax and Tiffany Stratton for one damn year. So, Jesus Christ almighty. But, yeah. That's not hypocrisy. That's just literally my opinion. But it's one of those things, Jeff, unless it's open challenge, there really is not a story-driven opponent outside Queen of the Ring that's already in the shot at SummerSlam. And Miss Money in the Bank controls when she can cash in. So, yeah, I got nothing outside Chelsea Green.
Okay, which Chelsea, from my perspective, I love Chelsea Green. I'm so mad she lost the U.S. title so soon. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love Selena too. So, there you go. Chelsea, I think, is the only other viable candidate from my perspective. So I'm not going to argue with that one. The question was to you, JJ, yes.
Yes, so please, JJ, lend your thoughts if you can.
So I understand where Jeff is coming from, and as far as on SmackDown, not a lot of people have been presented in such a way to where they would be a viable contender.
Exactly.
But that's where the crossover appeal comes from. It's an open challenge.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Masha Slamovich, the Knockouts champion, who we already know is going to be defending her championship at Slammiversary against the winner of Jordan versus JC. So why not get her on the card here so that she's a little bit closer to do some scouting?
And let me just say, there's a difference between being biased and being hypocritic. As Team TNA, Masha smash NXT. Please continue.
You've got Tessa Blanchard, as a potential challenger. If
Okay.
we're going the TNA route.
A controversial choice, but I'm not opposed to that one for sure.
You know, you've got it's Noah's most favorite female on the TNA roster. By Elegance.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Not hypocritical, but I'm about to be triggered. If you mention the Elegance brand, that Timo Premier Herman one more time.
Okay, but in fairness, Dana Brooke has the WWE connection. What kind of a pop would she get coming back home? We heard the pop she got when she showed up on NXT. We also saw the pop that Fandango got, that Santino got. Dana Brooke coming home as Ash by Elegance to challenge Tiffany Stratton in Tiffy Time would be a compelling matchup. Say what you will about the Elegance brand and your personal feelings about them. It would be a good matchup. Now, you want to go down to NXT, you've got Sol Ruka, you've got Zarya, you've got Lola Vice, you've got Jada Parker, you've got Fallon Henley.
Should be the National Women's Champion, in my opinion.
You know, JC is going into Evolution, the NXT champion. Fallon could challenge for the WWE Women's Championship. There's the possibility in the story there that Fatal Influence could have 2 of the 3 championships for the women's roster. Any of them would be worthy opponents of Tiffany. And let's not forget the Fallon and Tiffany history from NXT. When Tiffany had to muck stables for Fallon.
Oh no, I haven't forgotten. I'm sure Tiffany hasn't forgotten either.
I'm sure she hasn't.
So there's a big callback right there. So we know Fallon can beat Tiff. Can Fallon defeat her to win the championship?
That depends.
You know, so maybe not built up on the internal SmackDown brand, because Bianca, last I checked, still had an injured wrist. Might be making her return at Evolution, but isn't back yet to be built to match at Tiffany.
Right.
Naomi has the briefcase. Jade is Queen of the Ring, already getting a shot at SmackDown. Noah said what he said about Nia, and I don't argue him one bit.
Thank you.
Everyone else has been presented like hot fucking garbage.
Right. And you know, you bring up Naomi. I'm even okay with Trish winning and then Naomi cashing in. Like, I love Trish. I am unapologetically biased. I would love to see her go on a run here. But you're absolutely right. She's no longer a full-time member of the roster. So have her get her big moment with your kids there. And then, you know what? What is WWE best in hometowns or a business like that? They crush the family's dream. Have Naomi cash in on the veteran.
Get the emotions out.
I wouldn't be opposed to that. And as far as the Iconics coming back at Evolution, I don't think a tag team would challenge for the WWE Women's Championship in a singles match. So stay on topic here, Safet. They'd be a great team to be in that 4-way tag team title match.
I was going to say, they could be in
wouldn't be fitting in this match, so stay with the scenario.
Well, anyway, bottom line, Zaya Brookside, Elegance brand, fuck that.
There you go,
Okay.
Zaya Lee, Zaya Brookside, you know.
Yeah, seriously, that's the first
Rosemary.
Well, moonsault. Rosemary would be warped, but it would be interesting.
I asked a question and I got a plethora of answers, and I am okay with every single one of them. That's where my admitted hypocrisy comes in. I'm here for Trish. So,
well, bottom line,
and I love Trish too. I mean, I was always Team Lita over Team Trish. You know that. I think everybody knows that. I would probably be feeling the way you feel about Trish if it was Lita challenging her.
I was just going to ask you, if it was Lita, would you be arguing this this boisterously against
I
it.
probably would be being hypocritical, which is the whole point of this conversation. But at the same time, I would be open to, if you were making the argument like I am, with all these other names as potentials, I would be as open as you seem to be that, like, okay, yeah, there's a lot of people. Hell, can I have Tiffany Stratton versus Kenzie Page?
Oh,
That would be something
Tiffany Stratton versus Natalia Markova?
I think Natalia Markova is once again the #1 contender, if I saw NWA correctly.
She's always the #1 contender, never wins the fucking title. But that's a whole other can of worms.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Just James's day, so you know.
Well,
Right.
James can hold out.
But I mean, I won't even get into my soapbox about how I feel like they totally missed the bucket here with Evolution, and you know, Masha should be defending her title. Natalia should have beaten Kenzie at the whatever it was, the Crockett Cup. Thank you. I wanted to say the Dusty Cup.
I got you, JJ.
Should have beaten her at the Crockett Cup, then she could lose it back to Kenzie here on this stage, which would bring more eyes to the NWA product that is now going to have a TV deal again.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like there's two huge things they could have done for their partners, but it, in the words of Ryan, it is what it is.
Yeah, just like I got the sign downstairs. Bottom line, we're all hypocritical, but know your hypocrisy and leave it out the window when it comes to everyone else's opinion.
Try to be consistent.
Well,
if you stand on one thing for one instance, then stand that way for all instances.
And if you don't, accept the fact you're hypocritical and wear that badge proudly, but also know you're foolish. Okay. Well, great stuff. Again, perception's reality. Everyone's hypocritical once in a while, whether you're biased, soapbox, inconsistent, or consistent. You're still all wrestling fans. You don't decide with your own opinions. None of them are necessarily 110% right. It doesn't necessarily mean you're wrong, but everybody is their own person. That's why there are 6 different names here and not 6 Noah Fosters. Okay, well, that being said, great conversation all around everybody. So I think without further ado, unless we get any super chats from you, the viewers, regarding any further bits of conversation, we're going to go ahead and run along the watch trailer one more time, then get the heck out of here with chills before we close another rousing edition of the Shenanigans. Check this out.
And now for a taste of things to come.
Attention, Brittany Brooks here.
This is your NWA Women's World Television Champion.
This is the TNA Knockouts World Champion, Masha Slamovich.
Subscribe to Rage of Wrestling on YouTube. Don't mess a bad name.
You better subscribe right now, ahora, to Rage of Wrestling.
Subscribe to Rage of Wrestling on YouTube.
Everybody, make sure you subscribe to Rage of Wrestling on YouTube and get them to 200 subscribers. Let's go!
You always gotta appreciate Brittany Books. And again, subscribe in all languages of the world. Subscribe, hit the YouTube button, do it now. Rage of Wrestling, it's survivable. Subscribe. And again, as that trailer always continues to encompass, we truly embrace, celebrate, engage, cover, without hypocrisy and in all honesty. But we all got our personal passions and bias. But truly, here at Sonoma Studios, it encompasses all the wrestling. And welcome back. Yes, damn it. Always with the damn it. And I don't digress. And welcome back once again to the Saturday Shenanigans. I've been your host for this evening, Noah Foster, with two wise men. There were three, but one, technical difficulties. Two wonderful ladies and a Hebert. And, of course, the chat here that was also here, as always. Appreciate you.
Hebert.
What?
And a Hebert. You have a Hebert.
What is a Hebert? But an unknown organism of this wild community known as the Internet Wrestling Community. It resides in a Anyway, this is a Morgan Freeman documentary. Anyway, let's go ahead and get the hell out of here before this turns into anything wild and further tonight. Because unless you all super chat, by the time we're done with these shields, it'll be time to say goodbye and good night. So that being said, Attila, always a pleasure. Thank you again, despite the fireworks going off, rockets and glare bombs bursting in air, but always appreciate you. Tell where the people can find you when it's wrestling time and what you've been up to.
First off, you guys can check out my YouTube channel, Rangers of Wrestling. I haven't been consistently streaming. I'm gonna try to get back to my streaming, but I am trying to work on streaming a video game. As you guys know, I am a Power Rangers fan, and I did get the newest game, Rita's Rewind, for the Nintendo Switch. So I'm working on setting everything up. So maybe going forward, you will see some video game streams. Maybe not necessarily on my YouTube channel, but maybe on Twitch.
Okay, not network games is a wise move. I messed with Twitch back during the pandemic when I played Crash 4. God, that final level. So, hey, more power to you. I hope that you level up through that as well and have a great time. Appreciate you all.
All right, thanks.
Bye, folks.
Huh?
I said follow her YouTube channel as well. Got power down?
Yeah, I'm going to power down now, you guys. Bye.
All right, hope to see you later this week on Stupid Dating. Bye-bye. Appreciate you always. No love for life.
Okay, bye.
Get some rest. And hopefully it'll get quiet for you, too.
All right, bye.
Because we all know you're going to be there to simply predict NXT Great American Bash.
Yeah, I was like, wait, I'm going to be simply predicting?
Hey, you're welcome anytime. You see what the panels are. You see what the times are. I welcome you absolutely, pal. Just let me know.
Can I do Slammiversary?
Absolutely. Let me know your schedule, and I'll figure out when I'm officially doing that.
Okay, I might see you for Slammiversary.
Yeah, fair enough. All right.
Okay.
But I'm sure we'll see you before then, too. Go power down, get some rest, pal.
Of course. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. And then there were a save. Okay, well, that being said, James, let's go ahead and tell where the people can find you and what you've been up to. And good Lord almighty, your freaking graphics. Speaking of time, Makova.
It's my favorite ever. You guys can find me on YouTube, Instagram, and X at JHibberTime95 and on Facebook at JCBHibber. I do really cool and dumb things on the internet.
Reason my voice isn't as animal-y is because, well, I lost my voice because Walter and I, well.
James, don't forget about that. Move on from the past to the
scary.
James is a huge Matt Tremont fan.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
All right, look, we already got it with the something.
How can you hate on a man that comes out to the ring to journey?
Don't stop.
Very easily. Very easily. No, I don't hate him. I worry for him, really. I don't even hate him.
Well,
anyway, what was the thing?
Yes. To our separate ways. Finish your plugs, James.
My Uncle's Doc is out.
That's actually the song he uses, Noah.
Yes.
Nice. Good choice.
Part 2 is out right now. I need to get a QR code for you guys, and I apologize. I've been lacking. It has been so busy on part 3 that I haven't even had time. Plus, I'm doing another video project as we speak right now that is more confidential because, legal stuff. It's a whole
the
thing.
highlight reel from last year that you still owe us?
No, this is a different project for money.
He's gonna have 2 years of highlights to do by the end of this year if he's lucky.
I needed the money, so I needed to take another job. It's a whole thing. Anyway, long story. But anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so that's out right now. Part 2, great. If you love the first part 2, in my opinion, is even better. watch it. And please leave a comment if you can, because comments help the algorithm, and I like comments, and it helps. Please help with the algorithm. So go do that. And yeah, my Let's Play series has officially wrapped up. I played Super Mario Sunshine Eclipse. I actually did the Road to the Final Boss. Part 13 is out as well right now. That was probably the best gaming experience I have had with a Mario title, period. And this is from a modded fan project. I do not say that lightly. I have played every mainline 3D Mario game at least once. So for me to say that is saying a lot. Please go and I beg you, please go check this out. It's awesome. Such a great game. And play it for yourself if you have if you have means. You know what I mean? That's it.
Oh, fair enough. All right, Charles, apparently still having fun with you in the chat. Appreciate you, Charles Safet. And Emmanuel Dominguez, spend your money on something more wisely. Seriously. Ain't no duos or freaking songs coming out of me. I got to make sure I get a new Switch game, too. I'm going stir crazy because of my frugal ass ain't bought a new video game in months. Anyway, different conversation. That being said, Ash, always appreciate you, my friend. Let's go ahead and tell where the people can find you. And I believe you also have some upcoming content.
You can find me on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, at ShadowBatAsh. You can find me mostly listening and occasionally on the spaces. Probably needs to be updated. And also, don't be a dickhead. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Batty for Wrestling. I have a video for you tomorrow. I am going to be getting my thoughts on Zack Sabre Jr. becoming the IWGP Heavyweight Champion once again, and the G1 play-in tournament stuff that's happening. So be on the lookout for that tomorrow.
Good deal. Of course, we know the last chance for the losing four is literally a few hours away on New Japan Soul. So I'm looking forward to listening to your take and giving my thoughts. Appreciate you always, Ash. Stay batty. All right. Well, that being said, here's the two wise men and the hardest working men that you guys know here at Studio Studios to give you their shows. We'll first start off with the man that usually in this hot seat and why I was, again, happy to cover a friend. There's a reason why he moderates this madness. Damn it, JJ. Sometimes, brother. Good Lord, but I'm glad you're also dealing with your priorities or my passions. Always appreciate you. Go ahead and tell other people can find you. Love the new graphic, by the way.
You can find me on Instagram, the Renegade JJ Williams. YouTube, of course, Casa D18 Studios. X, ROW JJ Williams, and Casa D18 Studio. To piggyback off of what Ash said, Casa D18 Studios, where you'll find me usually hosting and participating in the spaces. Like said, that needs to be updated because Walter doesn't really do his anymore. Wrestling with Tism is Monday, and TFZ sometimes doesn't run at all during the week, depending on my work schedule. So that definitely needs to be updated. But
fair enough. All right.
So yeah, follow me on those things. And then before we let Jeff go, I do want to send a shout out to Carmelo Hayes and Kehlani Jordan, who are now engaged.
Yes.
Congratulations to the two. Well deserved. Beautiful. Nothing but happiness to those two. Like I said, that's a life-changing choice, and hopefully it's a lifelong choice. Don't take love for granted or the people you choose to be with, folks. Be better and also be less hypocritical. They go hand in hand if you actually work at it. Just saying. Thank you, JJ. Always appreciate it and always happy to cover for a friend and keep up with your priorities as always with these passions as a secondary. Happy to help you anytime I can. Well, that being said, Jeff, like you talked about earlier, but truly, my friend, you are one of the most integral parts to what became this community. Evolved 2 times over. Hell, look at what happened to TNA. They became Impact Wrestling and finally went back to TNA. So who knows what the next evolution of this family called the Super Studios becomes. But I know you have some stuff that you want to promote. And as always, first and foremost, we love you. Where can people connect to find you?
Well, you can find me on all those. I don't think I even use Blue Sky anymore. And if I do, it's a very rare thing. Same with Threads. They kind of, it is what it is. You can still find me on those spots, _ Jeff Meacham on Twix and Instagram, Jeff Meacham on Facebook, Jeff Meacham Network now on YouTube, but I think the YouTube still forwards to me. I actually am going to have a stream on Monday. I don't know if it's going to be live, but it will be up there at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific, because Monday is the anniversary of the third man being revealed at the Bash at the Beach back in 1996. So I am going to be talking about that. That's one of the graphics I sent you, Noah, or sent.
This one right here?
There it is. There we go.
I got
Yeah.
you.
Yes, I love when Mabel. I love when Mabel became the third man. Jeff, continue.
God damn it, dude. Poor Nelson. I mean, really, golly, man. Poor Big Hit. I would say never live it down, but that's kind of a post. It's too late to say that now.
Oh boy. Yeah, a little bit.
I'm a horrible person, but that's okay. So yeah, celebration
Oh,
3
God.
decades of making, because next year is 30 years, and a preview of what's to come. I'll talk more about that on Monday, whether it's live or not. Because Monday's also my mom's birthday, so we're probably going to be doing 1, 2, 3, something for her at that point.
Something! Finally.
Something.
Thank you, Jeff.
I forgot about the earbuds. You would have woken her up with that one, James. Also, I am going to. I forgot what all I sent you. Oh, website plug for the week and for the immediate future. Whereinthepark.com. They are my friends I have discovered through going to the park. They are a theme park fan-based website, hence the name. I see them at Disney because but they also frequent Universal, and they have been very generous with me and have brought me stylus pens over the last couple of visits. So I'm always in need of a pen, especially when I'm like on my platform doing my safety spiel, but also a stylus to operate the iPads or the phone or whatever. And they keep bringing me both, so I love those guys. So thank you for that.
I hear you.
Then I gave them the link to Walter's channel to A, subscribe, and B, to watch the third plug I have, because I want to get this out there for everybody. I would love to invite everybody to this, but then nobody's going to make any serious money in donations. So we are going to limit the actual singing people. But
Oh Lord.
But 19th, 2 days after the official 70th anniversary of Disneyland, we will be gathering as we do once a month and celebrating 7 decades of the most magical kingdoms on Earth with our monthly kick-ass karaoke with all things Disney. With the help of Mr. J.J. Williams, 2 Saturdays ago, now I believe it was. Oh no, 2 Sundays ago, excuse me. We compiled a list of 70 songs. I had 5 picked out that I pulled rank and said, these are my 5 songs. I don't give a shit. The other 65 songs are going to go on probably one of the biggest wheels we're ever going to have, because it's just going to be the songs. And just spin it, and, the tiers will be the same. If you donate $5, it's a random ass, song and person, and it'll tier up from there. But JJ and I felt that these 70 songs best encompass both Disney history, and a lot of them are woven within the fabric of the parks, specifically Disneyland itself. So I will say one of the benefits of doing this show on the 19th is the new version of It's a Small World will have been officially fully released, because as the company revealed back, I believe it was last year and then earlier this year on a stream on Disney Plus, there was a lost verse that Richard Sherman wrote for that song decades ago that is now going to be part of the song and part of the attraction throughout Disney parks. So we'll have that version available to whoever the wheel lands on. If it lands on me, I'll sing it. I'm praying to God that, because I love that song, but it gets repetitions. But again, as I said when we were coming back from commercial, I am so unbelievably thrilled to be part of this and to be able to present it and to help present it and to open the show with. I haven't decided which song I'm going to sing first to open the show, but you're going to see the opening that we ran earlier, and then I get to introduce the show. I'm so honored to do that. But it's still, even now, kind of mind fucks me that I'm back with the company and that I get to be part of the 70th. I was part of the company 100, and now I'm part of Disney Parks 70th, Disneyland 70th. So it's humbling Ric Flair always used to say it's hard to be humble, but my goodness, this is humble. So I am very appreciative of the keyboard clicking, talking over me, and I'm also very appreciative of the. Thank you. Sorry, I'm nitpicky. I know. I apologize for it. Mostly. Again, there's been a lot of chatter about my involvement with the Simple Reliable Studios and my lack of participation. And I am here to tell you right now that as long as I am able to be part of this particular show on Saturdays, y'all are stuck with me, and the viewers at home are stuck with me. I enjoy this. I enjoy being able to talk professional wrestling and in any facet, and seeing the different podcasters, get their just dues. Sam Roberts, Peter Rosenberg, Chris Van Vliet, our buddy Denise Salcedo, are just thriving. And I can take a path and choose to be bitter about it because, well, what about me? Why didn't I get the opportunity? It's like, well, they're busting their ass and working 5 times as hard as I am. Always have. And I am so unbelievably, again, honored to just be able to be a small part of what I still consider to be a big deal in my life, and that's being part of the stream on the Saturdays I can. Next Saturday, it won't be the case. Everybody in wrestling is working next Saturday except me. It feels like because I'll be at Disneyland working. So
there you go.
It kind of is what it is. Like every damn promotion and stream is running except me being part of it. The whole weekend, actually. I work the 12th and the 13th and the 11th on that shit. I take that back. The 11th, I am purposely not being busy. I'm going to go see Superman, damn it. That's what I'm doing on
There
Sunday.
you go. I mean, WWE and AEW have literally advertised it, so I mean, it makes sense to me. Also, don't be a dickhead. Be part of his army. So it's great. So
it's one of those. If I'm going, I'm apparently going by myself. None of my family seems to give a shit. They're more in line with JJ, and they're more about not sporting the blue boy. They'll sport the bat. But it's like, okay, I'm going to see by my damn self, and I'm doing that Friday. But next weekend, I will be watching this show and all the other wrestling on demand, and then in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we will celebrate all the Disney. Much to Noah's delight.
damn it! So help me God, if someone tries to freaking do duets for freaking. I remember who was the freaking smart out that tried to have me sing with Natalie? What the hell do I look like to you? Freaking Prince Ali? Stop it! Damn it! Anyway.
Prince Ali is not going to be on the wheel, so you're saved there. I would like to take an opportunity here, since we are discussing the Disney thing, and Jeff just gave that nice little soliloquy, if you will. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to put Jeff on the spot. I do have to work on that day. Now, I should probably be off in time to join in like I did today. Jeff Meacham, would you do the honors of hosting the Disney stream? That way Noah can be Noah for karaoke, as you are the employee of the happiest workplace on earth.
I will say with all sincerity what Kurt Hennig said to Arn Anderson in jest and in complete deception almost 30 years ago. It would be a privilege.
There we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Mother Effin Meacham will be our MC extraordinaire for the karaoke stream. I mean, I think it's only fitting. You're the cast member. You and I curated the list. You came up with the initial list, and then me and you kind of knocked some things so that we only had one song per movie. We added some stuff that you had missing, because he had no Encanto, he had no Coco. So, we knocked some things around, and so, yeah, I just think it's fitting. Even though I believe it was my concept to do this year because of it being the 70th anniversary, I honestly can't think of a better host to host it that week. So
Thank you. I appreciate that.
even if I was off, I would probably extend you the invitation to host it if we're being completely honest. But you know,
Thank you. Yeah, I am. Like I said, it's so funny. I purposely requested the 17th and 19th off. I didn't want to work the 17th, and it turns out that's a good thing because I am having to book a what they call a hostel, basically like a bunk that week because I don't work the 15th, but I have a cast preview event that I'll tell you guys about off air for those of you that give a shit. I work the 16th, a short little 4-hour shift, but not late enough like I was hoping. My hope was to work into the wee hours and then just go right to the activities because I start the activities for the 17th at 4 a.m. our time.
Good Lord.
Because the cast is going to be opened up from 4 to 7 or wherever it's going to be until we start letting the guests in. So yeah, they're gonna turn us crazy people loose for about 3-4 hours before the guests come in on the 17th, which is great because it's going to be so packed, so many people, so many different celebrations going on within the 70th anniversary of the park. So I'm glad I get to be a small part of a big deal. But I am so what I was getting at was I asked for those 2 days off. I ended up only getting 2 days that week. Period. I worked the 13th, so I'm basically working the entirety of the wrestling stuff. So I missed all the wrestling. And then I have a short little 4-hour in the middle of the week. But other than that, like it would be perfect if the wrestling weekend was going to be that weekend, the 19th and the 20th, because I can be part of all the preview predictions and shows and shit. But now I can't do anything. So I will be glad to have a full weeks of rest to properly prepare for hosting such a grand endeavor as honoring the happiest place on earth. So thank you, JJ, for the opportunity. Thank you to everybody at home that's going to be donating. Please donate to our PayPals during that shit, especially to poor Noah Foster. God dang, man. This guy is singing for your pleasure and his suffering. Pay this man. And we will put the list out. I don't know if you want to put it out, JJ, or if you want me to put it out after we get off the air here tonight. We will put the song list out so that way you guys know exactly what you can get, certain people into during the course of the show.
And Noah, I would like to request that you be a little less grumpy than normal. I'm not saying you can't be typical Noah, but be a little bit less grumpy than normal. After all, there was no karaoke in June. You did get an entire month off of karaoke.
Valid as heck.
We haven't done karaoke since May when James and I alone did the Muppets. So technically, you've gone 2 months without having to do karaoke.
And it's Disney.
So I feel like we should get a little bit more of a jovial Noah and not so this Noah that's currently here in the little box. Because I know you're going to know most of these songs because once you were a wee lad, you watched some of these movies. And if you didn't watch them once you were a wee lad, you watched them with your little Ella. So I know you know a good chunk of these songs. You had the last time you sang was wrestling karaoke. Can we try to have a little bit more of a jovial Noah? I see you trying not to smile because you know I'm right.
I hate you when you're right.
And Jeff, I know it sucks that you're going to be missing All In Weekend.
Yeah.
But look at the bright side. You get to be a part of Slammiversary Week.
That's true. I am looking forward to Slammiversary also. Like I've been trying to catch up on my Impact. It's been a bitch, but I am so happy for TNA as well. Like it's the best time to be a fan of wrestling, and it's a damn good time to be part of Disney or a fan of Disney right now because there is so much shit going on right now, and I'm here for all of it, every bit of it.
And I'll tell you, just like we tell the fans, for all your wrestling needs, check out any of those channels. Your one-stop shop for professional wrestling coverage.
Damn it. That's why I uploaded the graphic. Look how massive this family has grown. But truly, we are simply reliable for professional wrestling coverage. Damn it. Thank you, JJ. And JJ, I'll think about it. Thank you, JJ, Jeff, as always, for your spirit, not only for Disney, but for the shenanigans. Before I conclude, Arlene Dominguez showed up. Hopefully that's the only $5 she's got this month. Okay, let's make this quick. Who's winning title versus title? Doggone it. Who's winning the TNA title versus title at pay-per-view? Well, again, Arlene, it's a cause and effect. We got to look at Great American Bash. Is it going to be Jordan Grace? Needs to be. Or is it going to be Jesse Jane? And then Macho Slavish, Jordan Grace, running back the classic from Bound for Glory last year that I saw live. Or is it going to be Jesse Jane versus Macho Slavish, looking to become the fatal influence in this NXT-TNA relationship? But again, knockouts always will be that over the NXT women's roster for me. For life, Masha smashes everybody. I'm going with Masha. Jeff, fine. And then JJ. Then Ash, then James. Jeff.
So help me out here. I'm still trying to catch up on everything. So Masha is definitely defending the Slammiversary, obviously, TNA Championship.
Yeah, she's representing TNA.
Well, right. And the challenger will be whoever is the NXT Women's Champion coming out of Great American Bash.
Yes.
Evolution.
Or Evolution. I'm sorry. They have not made that graphic official. I have not seen an official graphic yet, JJ. Just saying. Continue.
Too much shit going on.
I have the JC versus Jordan graphic for Evolution.
Okay, very good.
So this is where shit like this bugs. And I say that because it feels like Jordan's going to lose the NXT opportunity again. And then they're going to have JC face Masha. Because if Jordan becomes NXT champion and then goes to challenge Masha, I don't see Jordan beating Masha again. But there again, I think saying chat my ass is right.
Thank you.
Because there's so many different scenarios. But I just don't see a scenario where they're going to have Masha be having to deal with Jordan again. So I almost think like it has to be JC. Would I prefer another Masha versus Jordan match? I don't know. Do I enjoy breathing? Do I enjoy soda? Do I enjoy a good Trish Stratus match? Yeah, a little bit. But do I dislike Goldberg with all my heart? Absolutely. So I'm gonna be a dick again. Yeah, exactly. Am I still gonna cheer? Yeah, anyway. Need to see the questions so I can actually see what it says. I want to answer it properly.
Who's winning the title versus title?
Okay.
Yep.
The answer will be okay. So the winner is going to be a dual champion then.
Correct.
Okay. In that case, Jordan.
Oh wow. All right then. JJ, on you.
It's very simple. If JC wins, Masha's winning. If Jordan wins, Jordan's beating Masha.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I think that either Joe Hendry or Mike Santana is taking the title off of Trick to bring it back to TNA.
I sincerely hope.
So giving Jordan the Knockouts title, where she's already a multi-time Knockouts champion, she has history with Masha, and letting her hold the Knockouts title on NXT television to help elevate TNA, just like Trick has helped elevate TNA by having the TNA championship on NXT champion on television, is not a bad thing. I just don't see JC beating Masha.
It was
Period.
John Henry.
I love JC.
Yeah.
I've always loved JC.
Yeah.
She ain't gonna beat Masha.
Hell
no.
So that means Masha then will come to NXT, which is cool because I'd love to see Masha versus some of them girls.
Yeah.
But I think realistically, there's more mileage in Jordan going back to TNA as Knockouts champion and being NXT Women's Champion than there is in Masha.
Okay.
And that's
Fair
no
enough.
hatred towards Masha. I just think there's more that can be done with Jordan in that scene.
All right. Fair enough. It's a perspective thing. Fallon Henry has a better chance of beating freaking Jordan Grace, in my opinion, than Jessie Jane. Ash, your thoughts? Do you have Masha, JC, or Jordan Grace being both NXT and TNA Knockouts Women's World Champion come Slammiversary? What you got?
Can I abstain from answering because I don't have enough of information on this opinion or matter because I don't watch neither NXT or TNA?
Yes, you may, and I respect your honesty. And hopefully you can learn something from either JJ's NXT or my TNA when we do Simply Predicting Slammiversary. Date and time to be determined, folks, as my NOLA partner wants to join in, and she's as big as a TNA fan as I am and doesn't watch NXT either like I don't, but at least give up highlights. So I appreciate that. James.
But if we keep to your traditional schedule, Noah, then it'll be Thursday the 17th, 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific, immediately following Impact.
Yeah, and again, I look at, of course, everyone's schedule who wants to be part. Yes.
Which means I won't be there because I'll be at Disney for the anniversary.
Again, date and time to be made official. But the usual is usually that. But we will see what happens as me and JJ, of course, collaboratively work together to book with the best panelists possible. James, Jessie Jane, Jordan Grace, Macho Slammers, who deserves to be the face of NXT and TNA's women's divisions? Come Slammiversary. Who you got?
I pick Masha, always.
Masha smash.
Masha
Everybody.
smash. Always. Masha smash.
Start by smashing JC and then go, let's see what happens when Jordan smashes her, and then we see who smashes the other first. Damn, that match was so good at Bound for Glory. And
I go Masha all the way, but yeah, I think Jordan. I think Jordan wins.
All right.
Juggernaut versus Masha.
Look, Masha fought 2 years against Jordan Grace to become the unstoppable juggernaut of the TNA Knockouts division, and she's already beaten a few people from NXT. Jessie Jane would just be another victim. And again, if Jordan Grace is already ready for the main roster, as some people said, then you got to consider she was Evolution. She's going to be drafted in the LOL draft to be made official later this fall by WWE. Plans subject to change. But yeah, I'm not going against Masha Slamovich. Masha, defend TNA. And Joe Hendry or Mark Santana, restore TNA. All right. Good stuff, Arlene. Thank you very much. Charles, I'm about to get to that as I'm finally get to my plug. Thank you again, Arlene, for that. Please make sure your wallet's empty. And thank you all for tuning in. And thank you all once again for engaging in us with the Saturday Shenanigans. Again, if you want to know something else or more about me, I'm barely social, but you can find me simply predicting, moderating these panels, anything but, Lord help me. And then Foster 1916 on YouTube, and once in a while on the X, sharing forums or a simple hello and a positive, ain't that a crazy concept? Positive, neutral outlook on professional wrestling. And as always, Charles with the something fits perfectly over the name. Doggone you, JJ, in this thumbnail. At some point, I'm going to have to figure out how to change this.
Jeff, have you seen this?
Oh, I don't think he has. Yeah. JJ gave me a new thumbnail. Yeah.
That's good numbers. I'm here for it.
Now, of course you are. Everyone's here for something. Anyway, again, find me primarily on the YouTube and on X and in Foster 916 for all things wrestling. And as Charles was asking for, again, I'm not going to die, but I'm going to be more busy than ever. Not only covering, but simply predicting. Because next week is a trifecta of live city predictings on back-to-back-to-back nights. Great American Bash will be Tuesday, July 8th, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, following the NXT. After Dynamite, we will simply predict AEW All in Texas, Wednesday, July 9th, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And after Collision and TNA Impact, because I'm crazy, I love both, but I probably will look at Collision ahead of TNA because it's the go home and the countdown. Either way, I will be doing simply predicting. I'll be looking at 3 different companies that night. Jesus Christ. WWE Evolution, Thursday, July 10th, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's all next week. And yes, I will somehow be doing a city predicting for Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor, probably on my own time, because that show is also being covered as well, which starts the first of 3 shows in the simplest league I host, the ROH League. So please stay tuned for more on that. And again, panelists, you are welcome to be on any of these. just let me or JJ know in the chat. Ash, I see you down there. So again, stay tuned, folks, for all the wrestling being simply predicted, anything but, by me and a gaggle of fools and fellow panelists and wrestling enthusiasts. All next week, while all these shows will also be covered and so much more. I will be on the call for AEW All In, Women's World Championship matches galore at Evolution, and of course, the Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor. So stay tuned for more on that. And who knows what next weekend's going to look like for me as well, whether or not I'm back in this hot seat. You never know. Time will tell. But I'm always happy to help out a friend. And I'm always happy to engage with y'all and happy to, again, bring my simple nature. And again, James, don't worry. You'll never have to deal with 5 different Noahs that say something at the same time to you. But anyway.
I'm happy for that.
Yeah, right? Imagine all these Noahs saying something. That'd be hilarious.
Something!
Something! Everyone's Noah!
3 faces of Foley. There's the 5 faces of Noah.
Yeah, you're right. Imagine you get more faces. You get a freaking Brady Bunch grid in there. Jesus Christ.
The 5 Noahs are doom.
Look, if the world was full of more Noahs, the world would not know what to do with itself, but it also might be a little bit more stable on the internet. Just saying.
It'd be a more positive fucking place, tell you what.
Yeah, I
This
suppose
is
that's
accurate. I think the internet would be a completely different place if there were more Noahs in this world.
True. Okay, you all are uniquely thinking. All right, but as always, I'd like to conclude there are no winners, no losers, no betters, just fans with opinions for this trash we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too, treasure your families, and just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling. It is truly as simple as that. But with that being said, thank you so much once again for tuning in to another edition of the Saturday Shenanigans. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Again, if you haven't already, subscribe, especially subscribe, and especially subscribe. She even has content coming out literally today if you're on the East Coast. So don't be a dickhead. Subscribe already today to Batty for Wrestling and everybody here at the Simply Reliable Studios. But especially the Rage Wrestling and Batty for Wrestling. Get those numbers up.
Yes, please.
And again, hit the bell of the video, go live on demand on either or any of the YouTube channels or outlets here at the Simply Reliable Studios. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let people know what we do, where we are, how often we do this, 24/7 365. Because you never know, as long as the press continues, what we'll be covering or talking about next year when it comes to all things wrestling and more at the Cibolo Studios. But I think with that, that's enough shilling. That's enough saying farewell. So I think finally we will bid you all adieu in typical British game show fashion. So let's go ahead and bid everybody goodbye, farewell, Auf Wiedersehen, and sayonara in any other language you wish. So for the Hebert, James Hebert, say goodbye.
Goodbye. Why am I the Hebert now?
Because you truly are one of a kind. I don't mean that like Rob Van Dam. You're a freaking idiot. We appreciate you. For the biggest Disney enthusiast I've ever seen in my life and respect. And here I thought my sister was the biggest Disney enthusiast. Jeff Meacham, appreciate you always. Say goodbye.
Good night. Godspeed. See you in 2 weeks.
Accurate. For the other cohort in all things Disney, shenanigans, wrestling, and your filibuster with the highlights and the booking for years. Don't we hire him? The Renegade Wrestling JJ Williams. JJ, say goodbye.
You say goodbye, and I say hello.
It's not copyright. Classic song, non-copyright. And last but certainly not least, for our Canadian friend, Ash, say goodbye, pal.
Goodbye and good night.
Simply put, don't need to say it any better myself. And of course, for all of you, we thank you. Safette, Arlene, Emmanuel, Charles, to Anthony, to, of course, Nestor, who's always in the chat, to everybody that's always part of this. Hammers, Jabroni, you know who you are. Daniel, I could talk about you all, but we'd be here for another 20 minutes. And I think that's enough. And Colin, thank you too. It's a goodbye for me as well. So I'm going to get some Z's, prepare for church, and watch even more wrestling because that's what I do. And again, stay tuned for new content from Bag for Wrestling regarding NJPW. But until the next time I'm on your screen, simply predicting, Lord help me this freaking week. And also, yaha. Jeff, I completely agree. Again, folks, say yeah to all things wrestling in the Civil Reliable Studios. And until next time, make a positive impact in life and have a good night. And thank you once again for tuning in to the Saturday Shenanigans. Have a good night, folks.
Good night, everybody.
El Grande Americano should defeat John Cena at the end of the year.
I agree.
The Chad Gable get well soon.
Get well soon.
Why? Because Chad Gable needs to get well soon. M-O-U-S.
Fucking cheap God playing luchador booking nonsense. Okay, I gotta hit this button. I'm gonna friggin' blow an aneurysm.
Wowzers now. El Grande Americano.